God, this feels weird, doesn't it? Going live at, 3:30 p.m. on a Tuesday? My commitment is unwavering to this channel. I started work at 7 a.m. this morning so I could do my 8 hours and then get on this live stream. So, yeah, the commitment has been big for this one. But it's a big deadline, to be honest, isn't it? There's quite a lot to talk about, quite a lot going on in the weekend just gone, quite a lot of people, I imagine, making transfers, etc. So, yeah, good time to go live. Dakshin, good to have you in the stream, mate. Hope you're doing well. We'll wait for a few more to join. I've got my usual, so we'll look at my score predictions, my team, of course, a bit of Draft Hound team ratings if anyone wants to send their team in. I've got a quiz, another quiz again if anyone fancies doing a quiz. Got the usual deadline stream content. Hello, Nick. Hope you're doing well, mate. I'll show you my team just quickly. You can have a quick look. I've done Dubravka, and I got to be done. Got him at 3.9 million. Just makes sense. 158k overall, not too bad. Turner to Dubravka, like the move, mate. That's exactly what I did. I've got Martinez on my bench though, which he's costing me a lot, so I might be changing him later on. But for now, I'm quite happy with it. Zetlin is asking start 2 out of Alvarez, Palmer, and Gordon. Ooh. I would personally start Alvarez and Gordon, I reckon. Although, could Alvarez be getting a rest? Both Alvarez and Gordon could get a rest, in my opinion. But nah, Alvarez won't get a rest, will he? Grealish is injured, so he's going to play. I'd go Alvarez and in Gordon. I think Man United Chelsea could be a low-scoring draw, I've got to say. Hello, Mr. Blanky. Good to have you in the stream. Dakshin, I will most certainly look at your team when we get to that. Not a problem. Yeah, interesting time to go live in it. 3:30 p.m. on a Tuesday. Good to see there's quite a few people about. I don't know if most of you guys are UK based. Probably not. I guess most of the UK based people will be still at work. I started my work day super early so I could get online to do this. Should we have a look at some score predictions then? I did a bit of a prediction this morning. Well, yesterday evening. So first couple of kickoffs, the games we've got tonight. We've got Wolves and Burnley. Just seen Neil's put in the air that he's done Cunha. I really like the sound of that, to be honest. I do think Wolves are going to win that one. I've got them scoring 3 goals, Burnley scoring 1. Arsenal, I think, beat Luton 3-0. No, I haven't heard anything on the job interview. I had a call from an unknown number today, and I was very excited because I thought that was a call back from the company I interviewed with, and it was a scam. Yeah, I haven't heard back on that interview yet, mate. I'm afraid, but thank you for checking. Wednesday, we got Brighton and Brentford. I think that'll be a relatively high-scoring game for both teams. You know, Brighton have not kept a clean sheet yet this season. Brentford are, no fools going forward. Thank you very much, Dakshin. But I reckon Brighton probably edged that 3-2. Palace and Bournemouth, I've got that down as a 1-1 draw. I think Palace are pretty decent defensively, but Bournemouth will probably score. Palace, not amazing going forward, but Bournemouth not very good defensively. I just think that ends 1-1. Similar sort of story with Fulham and Forest. I think they're both pretty level pegging teams, so I've gone 2-2 in that one. Sheffield United, yes, they have just brought in Chris Wilder, but I don't see them improving that much. So I've gone for a 4-0 win for Liverpool there, just because Sheffield United are terrible. I do think Villa will shock... Oh, I just hit my glasses then. I do think Villa will shock City too, which is why I've said 3-2. I think Villa will do something mental like go 2-0 up, and then Man City will come out in the second half, just all guns blazing, score 3 goals and win the game. It just looks like, certainly in the Tottenham game, that they've just complacent, aren't they? It must be really hard to, obviously, never having won a treble myself, right? It must be very hard to get yourself up for Premier League games after winning the treble, like mentally. And I think they're struggling from a bit of that at the moment. Man United and Chelsea, like I said, I think it'll be a low-scoring draw. I've gone for 1-1, but in my opinion, that game usually is one of the lowest-scoring games like in Premier League history. So, yeah, I've just gone 1-1 for that one. Everton and Newcastle, I think it's going to be a tough game for Newcastle. I really do, but I do think they edge it. I've got 2 Newcastle defenders, so I hope they keep a clean sheet, but I've just got a feeling that Everton score. They're not too bad going forward, are they, Everton? I've gone 2-1 for Newcastle in that one. In Spurs and West Ham, I'm going 3-1. I think Spurs will just have too much for West Ham, and West Ham are pretty pants defensively, aren't they? So yeah, gone 3-1 in that one. Let me know what you guys think in the old chat, but I think my predictions are fair enough there. Be interested to know what you guys think. That's very kind of you, Daction, by the way. Thank you very much for checking in and saying that. Nick, what I would say is that whilst I think he will probably play, Gordon is at a little bit of a risk of not starting, isn't he? I would always say that. So I'd probably keep DRB. Just for this week. Let the Crimbo madness commence indeed, mate. Would you bring in Trippier for a hit? Already have Dubravka and Lascelles, also considering Gordon. Have Saka, Son, Souček, Salah. I don't really like Souček, but I like the rest of the players you mentioned there. I think the question on would you bring in Trippier for a hit all depends on who you're selling for him, really. I think there are very few players that I would take out for a hit at the moment. But yeah, all depends on who you've got already. Mr. Blanky, I have the perfect thing to help you out. Got the clean sheet odds for the week according to Draft Town, so hopefully that should help you decide who to start. Interestingly, it's saying Johnston ahead of Dubravka, with Crystal Palace having higher clean sheet odds, and likewise Gahey. My way of doing it, I would probably do Dubravka and Gahey, so you like split the risk, if that makes sense. So you got one Newcastle, one Palace. You're not doubled up if Newcastle concede. Likewise, not doubled up if Palace concede, but you've got one of each. I quite like that. But yeah, hopefully those clean sheet odds help you. I see Sarah's got the same question there as well. Benj, I personally, thing is with Anderson is I'm pretty sure he was taking free kicks at the weekend, which is just crazy. I definitely start Anderson over Udogie. I think, yeah, I start Anderson over Udogie. I think that makes sense. Would I play Anderson over DRB though? That's a really good question. If you have a look at what the expected points are saying. Simon Shorts, hello mate, and yes I did. He is sitting there in me goals. We can do a player comparison, can we? So you want to know Diaby or Anderson? Do a quick comparison in Draft Hound for you. Anderson. Ooh. What are they saying? Oh dear, the expected points is absolutely neck and neck. Absolutely neck and neck. I'd flip a coin on it, Benj. Heads is DRB. Flip a coin. You're very welcome, Sarah. Sorry if I've pronounced your name incorrectly. Did you bring in Dubravka? Yes, I did. Cover that one. Would you start Collins? Which Collins are we talking about? Collins. Which one are we talking about? Is that Nathan Collins of Wolves or Brentford? You're saying Brentford Collins. Did all right for West Ham, didn't he? I don't think I would. No. No, I don't think I would. I think Brighton score. I think Brighton have scored for something like 20 consecutive Premier League games now. My gut feeling told me to play the free hit, loaded up on Arsenal, Liverpool and Newcastle. Oh, massive. Is it practical to consider bringing in Palmer for Hwang? I think absolutely. Can you do Semenyo Tsimikas? Of course I can. Let's do that now. Semenyo. Compare the old two. Tsimikas way ahead, but I would say Semenyo definitely starts for Bournemouth and Tsimikas might not start for Liverpool. That's the only thing to consider, but I think there's enough expected points in it to probably go for Tsimikas. Good to see you in the chat, Alexandru. Hope you're doing well. I'm live on a Tuesday, mate. It's unbelievable. I did an early start at work so I could finish early and get on this. I hope you're doing good, mate. It's probably a bit later in the day for you in Romania, isn't it? Sun Tzu, aren't you like a war philosopher? Solanke or Palmer? Who's got the fixtures again? Let's have a quick look-see. We can use the clean sheet odds to determine who is more likely to score. I'd go Solanke, I think. Today I was working from home, Dakshin. It can be in the office or at home, mate. Brought in McTominay weeks ago. Oh my god, yeah, I'd get rid of McTominay. Yeah, I'd bench him and play with 4, I think. Gahey, chance for clean sheet. Lascelles, obviously decent. Tsimikas, clean sheet, attack and return. Saliba, yeah, I think so. Don't know what other people think on Sarah. You have to tell me how to pronounce it correctly if you're a Sarah or a Sarah. But yeah, let people know in the chat what you think. Personally, I would go for a back 4 over McTominay. Sarah is fine. Oh, got ya. Did we do the score predictions? I did, but you just missed them. There you go. Nick is in agreement there. Nick is in agreement. Right, I reckon. So we got 2 options now. Gone through, actually, we got the top players for expected points by position. I covered this on my Ultimate Guide video, but I'll go through it quickly again. Here are your top goalkeepers for the game week. Draft Hound at the time I set these graphics didn't know that Bentley and Dubravka would be playing for their respective teams. So just replace Sarr and Pope with those 2. But those are your top goalkeepers. Kelleher, number 1. Obviously, Liverpool really heavily backed, of course, to keep a clean sheet against Sheffield United. Likewise, Arsenal against Luton. Defenders, we've got Trent, number 1, which obviously Sheffield United away makes perfect sense. Zinchenko, Saliba, Van Dijk, Trippier, Tsimikas, Gabriel, Tomiyasu, Matip, and Pedro Porro. Midfielders, I mean, Salah's always number 1 when we look at this. Saka in second, followed by Odegaard, Son, Martinelli. A lot of people on Martinelli, I have noticed. Well, he's only 7.2% owned, but it feels like a lot of people I've seen on Twitter this week actually have him. I would question this week of all weeks if he plays. You know, I do think Trossard could well come in just for this game. Could be an interesting 1-week punt if you want to go Trossard. Foden, Szoboszlai, Rashford and Mbeumo are the top midfielders. I wouldn't be surprised to see Rashford score against Chelsea. He always does show up in the big games for United. Fortunately, didn't show up against Newcastle, though. Forwards, we've got Haaland, number 1, way out in front of any of the others. Darwin, I really like his upside, but I would question if he's actually going to start this week. Interested, let me know in the chat if you think Darwin Núñez is going to start for Liverpool against Sheffield United. I've just got a feeling he just lets Gakpo play this week. Although I do think with, 20, 30 minutes to go, Darwin could well come on and score. Alvarez, Isak, Edouard, Jackson, Jesus, Solanke, and Nketiah and Ferguson are your forwards. And then captaincy, for me, it's an obvious one on Salah, just because of the quality of the fixtures. I really like that. And Philippe Mays is a good point. There's no Watkins on this list, which I found really interesting. I think without Rodri in the team, Man City are a really, really heavily weakened outfit. And I think Watkins should be on it, to be honest. I put Watkins somewhere between Solanke and Edouard, I'd say. I do think he'll be just fine this week. Absolutely no qualms with having him. Already covered the captaincy. Your clean sheet odds, I had that on screen for a little bit, but usually the rule I say with clean sheet odds, well, these are according to Draft Hound, but anything below 30%, I wouldn't really back for a clean sheet. So, if you've got a Chelsea defender, look to avoid starting them, for example. But with Tottenham on 29, that's so close to 30. I think if you've got a Tottenham defender, may as well start them this week. But anything below that, probably not. Between Saka and Darwin, mate, I would go Saka. I think Saka is absolutely guaranteed to play, whereas Darwin, not so much. So, yeah, I'd go Saka. And Saka, he might not take them all, but he will be at least getting some penalties. So I like Saka. I think Saka's your man if you want to go different. Yeah, I agree, Nick. Son would be a differential captain. Don't mind it. He's not on the top list, but I mean, if you think it doesn't matter about what expected points say, if you believe in Son, you go for it, mate. That's how my team's lining up. I did an early move on Monday. Well, Sunday actually, I think I did it. I did Turner to Dubravka and just benched Martinez. I didn't want to be in a position where I didn't have two playing keepers, just in case, because I just have a feeling that Newcastle signed someone. We'll see how Dubravka does. But if Dubravka has a terrible couple of games, might consider Dubravka, surplus to requirements and sign someone. So I wanted a couple of starting keepers, so I'm not in a hole. Next week, you guys are going to hate me for this, right? Well, you might laugh at me, but I'm actually considering Matty Cash to Reece James. Laugh at me all you want, but considering how poor some of the defenders have been, I just think Reece James is worth a go, isn't he? Like the attacking upside he brings, he could be, well, he's not, is he? Because it's Cole Palmer now. You say he could be taking penalties, but the attacking upside that James has, if he misses the odd game, whatever, I mean, no one's keeping a clean sheet, are they? I just think it's worth a punt. Like the worst that happens is he scores 0 points, which, well, is what pretty much all the defenders in the game do anyway. Yeah, I could go Porro as well, I guess. The only thing with Tottenham for me is I think just without Maddison and just all the key players that are out, Van der Ven and Maddison both been out for a little while, I just question what Pedro Porro's kind of role would be. Is he going to be as attacking as he used to be? I'm not too sure. That's all right, Sarah, no problem. Oh, I rate you guys backing me for Reece James, thank you. I think it's sensible, isn't it? He'll miss the odd game, but I mean, I've got a decent bench, right? Should be fine. But yeah, that's enough about my team. If anyone wants me to, I've seen Daction was already on it. If anyone wants me to have a quick look at their team in Draft Town, you're most welcome. You just need to let me know either your FPL ID or team name, and I will crack your team in here and we can have a look at it quickly. And then we'll got a few quiz questions for you as well. You know we love an FPL quiz on this stream, so we'll have a look at that. But yeah, if you let me know your team name or ID, I will. I'll sort you out. Do a little review of your team if you like. I always say I never pretend to be an expert when looking at people's teams. I just provide like my thoughts. So please don't take my words as gospel. If you disagree with me and want to do your own thing, it's not my place to tell you what to do with your team. First up, we got Nick then. Of course, Daction. We all know what your team's called. We'll have a look at yours straight after. Nick. The only thing it will do is it won't remember the transfers that you've already made this week. This is your team as per the deadline last week. So if you've done a transfer, Nick, let me know. I'll do it for you. But I mean, if you've not done one already, I would do Turner to Dubravka and leave the rest of the team. That is what I would do. You haven't made a transfer, yeah. Just Turner to Dubravka would be my swaps, mate. And then just leave the rest of the team. I think it should be fine. The only risk you have is Gabriel not playing against Luton. Then Cash comes in against Man City. But I think it's worth the risk. I'd just do Turner to Dubravka, play Dubravka, mate. Daction was up next. I don't think so. Not this week, Nick. While Cash, I wouldn't do it this week. Yeah, same with Daction. I just do Turner to Dubravka. The question is, would you play Gahey over Gabriel? That's the only question I'd ask myself. Just in how likely is Gabriel to play? Or would you play Lascelles over Gabriel? I guess that's the one. Neil's wife has brought in Hwang and Raya. Interesting. I like Hwang, of course, ahead of place for Wolves, ahead of Burnley. And Raya is probably just the set and forget keeper, isn't he, right? You could just have him now for the rest of the season. Just leave it. I wouldn't have major doubts in your subs. That's literally one of the best benches I've ever seen. Semenyo is the best striker at that price. Lascelles is the best defender at that price, and so is Gahey. So I would not worry about the subs at all. I think you're fine. If you think Gabriel will start playing, mate, I think that team's lovely. Just do your Turner to Dubravka move, as you said. According to Draft Hound expected points, at least, this is how you should line up. Who was next? Felipe's City. Have I spelled that correctly for Felipe? I got you Ashton and Bryce and Aaron's comic. We'll have a look at yours. Just looking at Philippe's at the moment, but I think I'm spelling it as he said, but I can't find it. Yeah, it's not there. I might have to come back to yours, Philippe, if that's all right. I'll do Ashton, and then we'll come back to you if you get it working. 154 There we go. Sorry if you can hear a truck reversing outside my window. That's because there's a truck reversing outside my window. Honestly, I would consider Areola to Dubravka here. Ashton. The rest of the team is really, really nice. Could consider Diaby over Edouard as well. But I mean, other than that, you could even roll this week, mate, to be honest. I'd probably roll. You know, Onana could keep a clean sheet. I'd probably roll. I'd roll or get Dubravka in. That's probably what I'd do then. There's not a whole lot to talk about. That's such a good team. And there's Ashton. You want to do Diaby to Gordon? Yeah, I don't mind that either, mate. United Doug out. I have that's how you've typed it to me, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think Rye's a great goalkeeping option. Yeah, I can't find your team Aaron's comment based on that. Unless it's United Dugout and not Unai. No. You might have to tell me that again, Aaron. You might have to go with your team ID as opposed to the name. Stranger Danger. And then there'll be plenty of teams called Stranger Danger, so we'll try and narrow that down. You might have to tell me unless we can scroll through all the people called Stranger Danger in FPL. Might need to know which one you are of those, Bryce, mate. Team ID, mate. I'll show you. This might be useful for Bryce as well in the chat. Ooh, big crash outside. Just because I can't find your team. So if you go, you have to do it in the browser, unfortunately. But if you go on your pick team and Gameweek history, in there you get your ID in the top there. That's my ID. You should be able to find yours there too. You have to do it in the browser, unfortunately. That's the only way. So move on from Bryce. So Bryce and Philippe, if you want yours in, lads, you'll just have to tell me your ID. Shaniel, subbed out cash for Gabriel. Is that a good choice? A little bit risky. Getting rid of cash is absolutely fine. The thing is with Gabriel is he might not start this week. Arteta has been known to play Kivior against like the weaker teams. I'd also say Gabriel is probably due a rest, considering how much he played at the start of the season. However, Luton are obviously a more physical team, and I'd say Gabriel is a more physical defender than Kivior is. So we might keep Gabriel in order to deal with the physicality of Luton. So I'd say there's a few arguments for and a few arguments against, but I would say he might not play. 6173591. There it is. It was Felipe's. That's really weird. Sorry that it didn't work. That is you indeed. That's my thoughts anyway, Shaniel. Let me know what you think. Personally, mate, that's a really nice team. I mean, yeah, it's just looking like Turner to Dubravka for me. Just do that move. I mean, the rest of the team's really nice. I've got no suggestions. Mitchell is fine to come in for Tsimikas. Mubama might play with he might get some minutes. I don't mind that team at all. I'd probably just bring in Dubravka. It's the only thing I'd do there, mate. I still have Diaby. Do you think I should start? I don't hate Diaby. Not with Man City without Rodri. I don't hate it. Especially at Villa Park. They got a good record, haven't they, Villa? I wouldn't say it's out of this round to start him. Oh, he's already done it. Perfect then, Philippe. I think you're sorted. What we got next? Ashton's done. I'm pretty sure it's Cortex next. Hey, Bryce, don't apologise. We'll get to yours in a sec. I'm just going for Cortexes now, and then we'll get to yours in the chat. I will definitely have a look. Here we are, Eunice. Am I going to be live until the deadline? We'll see how we get on. We'll see if I run out of things to talk about, basically. Carl Valencia, thank you very much. Yes, if you're new around here or enjoying the stream, want your team rated, what I ask in return, right? All I ask in return for a rating of the team is just hit the subscribe button. It's completely free. That's all I ask in return. Nothing else. If I rate your team, it'd be lovely if you could subscribe. Cortex. Honestly, mate, this is another team. Would I do Areola to Dubravka? I think I would. The rest of the team here is absolutely fine. The only thing I guess you've got is a Awoniyi here. You could bring in Isak and then bench Diaby. But I think I like... no worries, Daction. I think I like Areola to Dubravka here. I think that's what I'd do, Cortex. I don't know if you've already made a move, though. Priyanch, I'm going for yours now, mate. 100, 1746. I would play Porro. I think just for the more attacking upside. Clean sheet-wise, they're probably quite similar. Attacking upside, obviously, Porro wins. Oh, we brought in Saka. Absolutely sound, mate. Well, of course, you could have just done Diaby to Saka, couldn't you? Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Good move. So this is Priyanch's team. Oh, it's another Turner to Areola job. I'd probably roll the other transfer you've got, to be honest, mate, because I reckon you've got Gehi as cover for Tsimikas. I mean, even Taylor could cover as well. Yeah, I really like that team. I'd just do Turner to Dubravka, really. Yeah, you're smashing it, mate. I can see why you're ranked so good. You've got a fantastic team. I've not seen that Cash isn't starting. I just personally wouldn't start him in my team because he's got Man City, but I think he probably does play. I just don't think it's worth starting him in your FPL team. So Priyanch, that's you, mate. I don't really think I've got much else to say there. Bryce was up next. 9139867. There he is. Stranger Danger. I don't think you need either of them. Gotta say. I wouldn't be rushing them in. I think you're fine. Be patient with a team that's done well for you, is what I would say. Ooh, Bryce has got a bit of Trent in here. I think I'd just do this guy to Dubravka again and play Dubravka. The rest of the team will do you just fine this week. Wouldn't be too worried about Højlund. You need a replacement for Højlund. Well, you could do Eze to Gordon. No, because then you'd be tripled up. You could either do Eze to Gordon, but then that would stop you doing goalkeeper to Dubravka. I'd probably just leave it. I'd probably just do the goalkeeper, to be honest, and just leave it. That team is really nice. I don't see any issues with that team. I'd just bring the goalkeeper out and in. Just do the goalkeeper move, mate. I don't think Højlund... Yeah, I think he'd be all right. Dubravka is such a gift, isn't he? I think you just got to go for him. Eugene. Barbarian. I might need a bit more info than that, but we can try it. Yeah, I need a bit more info than that. Need your FPL ID for that one. As ASL, yes, but you've got a good team with him on the bench, so I wouldn't be rushing him out. Who was next? Vineeth Daniel. There's nothing I'd do with this team, or quite honestly, nothing I'd do with this team. I think the question is, I mean, do you potentially start Ferguson over someone? But I mean, other than that, I think you're sound. I wouldn't even make a transfer. To be honest, even starting Johnston is fine. But consider Areola to Dubravka, I guess. But yeah, I probably would actually with Johnston's upcoming fixtures. Maybe do Johnston to Dubravka and rotate him and Areola. It'll get you a bit of cash in the bank to potentially upgrade cash next week. That's about all I'd consider, mate. Right. I do have a rule for anyone new. Anyone that is a channel member gets a priority when I review people's teams. Alexandru is a member, so he gets priority, I'm afraid. And thank you, Alexandru, for being a member. You're a legend, mate. So I'll have a look at his team. Lovely team. Like, honestly, lovely team. One thing I would do is just turn her to Dubravka. It's such a basic, obvious move, but it's probably the one I'd do. The rest of the team's absolutely fine. Yeah, I like it. What, did you have anything planned, Alexandru? Two seconds, guys. Already done that. Oh, you're sound then, aren't you? You're sound, mate. You're sound. He's sorted. Right. Atomic. I'm pretty sure Aaron's comic. I don't know why I said Atomic then. There we go. It was there. It just didn't. It didn't find it for some reason. I don't know what's going on there, mate. This is another Turner to Dubravka team, I think. Yeah, Turner to Dubravka with this one, mate. Just do that. Rest of the team is absolutely sound. Even like Maguire could keep a clean sheet this week. Like Man United could. It could be a really low scoring 0-0 game. It really could be. Greg Williams. I'm getting through them quickly, but I think I've spoken about most sort of issues people have got. I'm not going to say that team name. Oh, this is another one where I think I'd do. Yeah, Ashton, I really like that. I think that's another one where I'd just get Dubravka in. Yeah, just get Dubravka in, mate. Oh, we didn't do Eugene. Eugene. Let's get yours sorted. I'll do a few more. I usually find that my... No worries, guys. I usually find that my brain sort of runs out of steam with rating people's teams and properly thinking about them after a while. I'll do 3 or 4 more, and then I'll call it there. It's just really hard to take in the context of everyone's teams and the move they need to make. I just need like a mental break from doing it because, yeah, it's really hard. Trust me, I know it probably isn't for you, but it's hard for me to think about everyone's teams. I'm looking at Eugene's here, I'm pretty sure. I would do Turner to Dubravka and roll the other transfer, I think. Unless you want to buy Saliba or Reece James this week, I'd just do Turner to Dubravka and let that transfer roll, to be honest. The rest of the team is lovely. Saka's gone up to 8.9 now. Wow. I think that's all I'd do there, Eugene. Oh, Draft Hound has decided to freeze on me as well. It does that sometimes. Right, who's next? Who is next? I'll do a few more, lads. 3 more, and then we'll take a break to do the quiz. That's all right. I've got a little FPL quiz for you all. Don't apologise for the team name, mate. It's fine. As long as I don't say those things, I think I'm all right on YouTube. Who was this? I did Cash and Diaby out for Palmer and Saliba for a -4. Johnson out. Yeah. Yeah, looking at that team that I'm seeing there, I think, yeah, it makes sense. I think, yeah, it makes perfect sense. I wouldn't get Palmer. I can answer that, Kettle, without looking at your team. I would wait till next week for Palmer. I think it's going to be a low scoring one against United. I'll do 3 more. So I'll do Andrew, I'll do George, and I'll do Kindoichi, and then I'll call it stumps there for a bit of time. So Andrew 2213962. Wow. It's another Turner to Dubravka. Oh no, you can't do Turner to Dubravka. Ooh, you've got triple Newcastle already. I should leave it. 2 free transfers though. Nothing in the bank. Who would I get rid of there? Oh my god. I would play Anderson over Douglas Luiz. Good grief. There's just nothing I'd do here. Like, you got 2 frees, but maybe consider Areola to Dubravka just as a straight swap. I think that makes sense. Just do Areola to Dubravka, mate. There's nothing else I'd do there, honestly. Nothing else. Or because you can't do Dubravka, you tripled up on Newcastle. This might be the first ever team I've seen in FPL where my recommendation... Oh, he's done Kelleher for Taylor. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Kelleher for Turner. Yeah, just do that, mate. I think that's fine. Right, George Griffith. Low ID. This guy he was on the ball. This is a Flecken to... Ooh, it could be Areola to Dubravka, and rotating with Flecken. He tripled up on Newcastle, can't do it. I would just roll. I'm not seeing any massive gains from transfers here. I'd probably just roll. Yeah, probably just roll. I don't see anything massive here, got to say. If you really want to do Alvarez to Watkins, do it, but I don't see anything massive there. Right, we're going to do Kindoichi, Sun Tzu, and Eamon. Oh, we'll keep going. I've got a bit more energy in me. 1044806. You're very welcome. Yeah, I'd start the team as this and consider Turner to Dubravka. I know I keep saying Turner to Dubravka, but it's because it's such a good move. But yeah, this team is as it is how I would play it. Really quick, but I think that's all that really needs to be said. 54553. Sun Tzu, the war theorist or philosopher himself. Another Turner to Dubravka transfer, if you've not done it already. He's 8.7k, this guy. Absolutely unbelievable. I'd look for a way to get Saka in at some point as well, but I don't see an easy opportunity. So yeah, Turner to Dubravka, I reckon, mate. Nice rotation there with Areola. Eamon as my last one. I've got an FPL quiz after this you guys will be excited to do, hopefully. 9493. Improve the lineup, please. Cheers. Well, another Turner to Dubravka, but you got 2 frees. I would consider Turner to Dubravka, and then maybe the Art of War, but there you go. That's what it's called. Yeah, Turner to Dubravka, and then maybe either James Ward-Prowse or Douglas Luiz upgraded to Mbumo. I know he blanks in 18, but he's still a fantastic option. So I'd consider doing that. Turner to Dubravka and then have a look at getting Mbumo in for one of those two. Is what I'd consider. Oh, Ricefields was last. I'll do you Ricefields and then that's it. My brain is running out of juice for these teams. Just check that's the ID he sent me. 3851340. Yeah. Johnson to Dubravka, I think, or Areola to Dubravka. One of those two. That's probably all I do, realistically. I think that team's looking really nice. There's nothing major that needs doing to that team. It's really nice, mate. You'll do better for not making transfers than making them. Pretty sure I did Kettles. He was at the start, wasn't he? I'll do you quickly, mate, because I think you were in the chat earlier. Still wanted a rating. You did, mate. I missed you. Turner to Dubravka. That's another Turner to Dubravka team, to be honest, and then roll the other one. Consider starting Lascelles over Douglas Luiz. I mean, other than that, you're sound. In fact, it's probably better to have Lascelles on the bench because he can come in for Gabriel. I'd say Dubravka's more likely to keep a clean out than Onana. Yeah, Palmer v Tsimikas is really tough for Alexandru. It's on minutes, I'd say Palmer, but on potential points, I'd say Tsimikas. God, it's really tough. How many minutes I don't have Tsimikas, but we can check how many minutes he played. If he played a full 90, I'd say he probably gets benched. How many did he play last week? Did he get subbed? He played a full 90. I think he could well start Gomez, you know. I'd just go Palmer because I think it's less risky. And he's the penalty taker, isn't he? They could get a penalty. I'd probably go Palmer. It might not work out, but it is the safer play. It's the safer play. Does anyone want to do an FPL quiz, by the way? I've got 5 quiz questions. If anyone fancies doing a little quiz to entertain themselves before the deadline. We've had a look at everyone's teams now. We can do a little quiz if you want. Cool, I worked out the questions yesterday evening. I think there's some pretty good questions. Some you should be able to answer. Some of them are a little bit tough. Right, we're going to do the quiz. No one's even said yes, but I'm going to do the quiz. So here is my first question. Who at the moment is the top scoring goalkeeper in the FPL game? We got Onana, we got Pope, we got Alisson, and we got Sam Johnston. Who is the top scoring goalkeeper in the game? Interestingly, we got 4 different answers so far. Few shouts for Alisson. Johnston's in there, bit of Onana as well. No one shouting for Pope yet. No one fancy a bit of Nick Pope? I'll give it 10 more seconds. I'll give you the answer. Final answer from Sarah is Pope. Sidemen Shorts. The question is, right, so Sidemen Shorts, he answers always like 15 seconds after I ask the question, which bodes the question back from me. Does he look at the FPL game? Don't cheat. I want to know, Simon Shores. The answer is Alisson. Alisson is the top scoring goalkeeper at the moment, which is mad because he's not played. Will Martinelli play? Do you fancy him as differential? I don't know if he'll play, but I do fancy him as a differential. Full knowledge. All right, mate. Who is the top scoring Newcastle player in the game at the moment? Might be obvious, but it might not be. So we've got Gordon, Pope, Trippier, or Isak. Oh, excuse me. God, everyone's saying Trippier. Trippier for sure. Alexander in there with Gordon. Lots of shouts for Trippier. I'm expecting lots of shouts for Trippier. Sidemen Shorts, I don't think he had time to cheat then. He's gone straight in with Trippier. Everyone's saying Trippier. Everyone's saying Trippier. It's Trippier, but it's close. So those of you that was massively confident in the old Trippier, I'll show you. It's Trippier by 2 points. Or 3 points. Gordon 79, Trippier 82. That's close. Hopefully I haven't just given away the answer for another quiz question by flashing out those points. There we go. So which FPL player has the most points per game this season? We got Salah, Haaland, Watkins, or a very rogue shout of Dan Bentley of Wolves. Which player has the most points per game this season? I'm expecting Haaland to get shouts. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Salah, Haaland. Salah, Haaland. Sidemen Shorts in there with Bentley. Rank the Arsenal attackers 1, 2, 3. I will say Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli. That's my three in my ranks. Haaland and Salah. Haaland. One shout for Bentley. Bit of Salah. No one's going for Watkins. I will reveal. The answer is Dan Bentley of Wolves. He played one game this season so far. That was game week 14 and he scored 8 points. I think Haaland is on 7.9 points per game. So Dan Bentley with his one game for Wolves against... Who did they play? Burnley. They played Arsenal, didn't they? He kept a clean sheet because he didn't concede in the time that he was on the pitch. By the way, I would say, Sidemen Shorts, please don't cheat. There's no need to cheat. Oh, no worries. I don't know if you can cheat the... Well, I'll show you actually. You can cheat the question, but whether you knew that you could cheat the question, I guess, is by the by. So yeah, if you go on stats... Oh no, it's the FPL Stats Center. So on your... I'll show you. On your web browser, on your PC, the actual browser, you can get so many stats now on the FPL site. You get all of these. All of those stats. Yeah, exactly. Why would I put Bentley on that? That's fair enough, mate. That's fair enough. You get points per match, and there you go. Dan Bentley, Salah and Haaland joint on 7.9. Got Bentley up there on 8. All right, let's just go around the questions. Okay, next question. Which player has risen in price by the most this season? So from their starting price to where they are now, who's gone up the most? You got Anderson, Mbumo, Salah, or Son. Which player has gone up the most in price this season? What do we reckon? Couple shouts from Mbumo, bit of Anderson in there. Few shouts for Anderson, lots of shouts for Anderson. Might be Son, might be. God, Nick, you're an expert, you are, Nick. It is Joachim Anderson of Crystal Palace. Well done, everyone that said Anderson. I'm not keeping scores, by the way, so yeah, let me know if you're keeping scores. Final question. Which player, this one you probably won't be able to cheat on very quickly, who has made the most tackles in the Premier League so far this season? We've got Pedro Porro, João Palhinha of Fulham, Christian Norgard of Brentford, and Conor Gallagher of Chelsea. Which player has made the most tackles in the league so far this season? Few shouts for Norgard, but everyone's getting a shout. Interesting. Drum roll on my desk. The answer is... Oh no, I've done it wrong. There we go. João Palhinha of Fulham. Interestingly, I think João Palhinha is one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. Like, he is a really, really good player. I don't know how Fulham got him and no one else did, but he is a really, really good player. You can tell that by the fact he's got some bicep veins. There you go. All right, that's it. 5 quiz questions. Hope you enjoyed that. Bit of a change from the older... Bit of the old FPL. Yeah, just not an FPL asset, unfortunately. I think he's one of the best players in the league. Oh, unlucky Philippe. There's always next week, mate, if you want to join me. I do that every week now. That's a weekly feature of me old deadline streams. Well, actually, I won't be going live for the Gameweek 16 deadline because I'm going to Paris this weekend with my girlfriend, so I will be missing the deadline stream next week. But yeah, Gameweek 17, I'll be live again. We'll do another quiz. You can claim it back, mate. Don't worry. Norgard is one of, like, across his time at Brentford, is one of the top tacklers in the league. It's fair, yeah. I mean, you could see the impact of him being back in the team, couldn't you? Because Fulham really gave them a game. Sidemen Shorts, thank you very much. I am not captaining Haaland. I'm going to save that now. I'm captaining Salah. It's got to be Salah, hasn't it? There we are then. Should we have a quick look-see at the old Twitter, see if we got any news? Any team news going on? Not that leaks aren't actually that big this week, are they? Any chance Salah? I don't think Salah gets benched. No, I just don't see it. If he does, good grief. But no, I don't think he does. Simicast news would be good, but I think they play tomorrow, don't they? So I don't even think Klopp knows what team he's playing tomorrow. Wilder has been announced. Wilder is the new Sheffield United manager. Victor, it's good to have you in the stream, mate. Hope you're well. It's a little bit of an early one at a different time than normal, so I appreciate you joining me. Yeah, I'd certainly recommend getting on Saka, but I think we looked at your team, didn't we, Philippe? If there's no room for him, don't worry about it massively, but I do really like Saka. Captain Son or Salah. Salah for me this week. Sheffield United is just such a good fixture. And even if Wilder is announced, like, he's not going to have an impact on that team, is he? They'll probably have a bit of confidence about them, but the thing is with Sheffield United, who was their previous? Heckingbottom was their last manager, wasn't it? Something like that. I don't even remember, right? But they were so bad. Like, they're player-wise, they're a championship quality team. So regardless of who is in charge of Sheffield United, they're not staying up this year. They're just not good enough. So yeah, I don't think any manager could really get a tune out of them, to be honest. I would agree with Sarah there. Well, that's useful to see. Those are the 4 sides with the best fixtures. Chelsea, Newcastle, Tottenham. Play one. I play Palmer. I think I play Palmer, the penalty taker. I think I think I play the penalty taker. The 2. That's just my thoughts on that, though. Mix in there with a different idea, though. That's a really tough call. I think I just favour the penalty taker. I think the question is, right, think of this. I'll do it from like a mental health perspective, right? If you start Palmer, he blanks, and Lascelles does all right, gets a clean sheet. Really, that's all Lascelles is going to do, right? I don't think he's a big goal scorer. So if you play Palmer, he blanks, Lascelles gets a clean sheet. That's a bit annoying, right? But if you play Lascelles, he concedes, and then Palmer scores 2 goals, you'll be really annoyed. So I reckon, based on that, play Palmer. The upside of Lascelles is smaller than Palmer, I think is what I'm getting at there. I'm not massive on Enzo Fernandez just because he's not attacking enough. And I don't have Palmer. So I wouldn't say he's essential. He'd be good to have from game week 16, but I don't think he's essential. Should I take a -4 to sell cash, and who should I bring in? I don't think I would be taking a -4 for him. Susanna Potts, that was very Bristolian of me there. Best DRB replacement already owns Saka. I would say Gordon and Bumo, Bowen, any of them are fine. Basically any of the players I've got, because obviously I'd recommend the players that I have. Start Branthwaite, Taylor or Cash. I'd start Taylor. Can't believe I'm saying start Charlie Taylor again, but I think I would. Should I use my second free transfer on Dubravka in or roll? Depends who he's replacing. If your goalkeeper starting is in or around Newcastle's clean sheet odds this week, I'd probably roll. But if you've got a goalkeeper you're not massively confident in, I would bring in Dubravka. I'd bring in Dubravka for Areola and Dubravka for Turner and start Dubravka. Well, that's a good question, that, Victor. I don't know if anyone else in the chat knows. We can have a Google. Best differential cap. I personally prefer Saka because he also has the upside. He might not take them all, as we all know, but Saka also has the upside of penalties, doesn't he? I think he's playing worse opposition and he has a chance of getting a... Well, so does, of course, Son's the penalty taker as well, isn't he? I think Saka. I'd still say Saka for the quality of the fixture. I forgot that Son had penalties, my bad. Would you drop Darwin/Watkins to Solanke in order to get Saka in for DRB? I think that's over management. I think it's a bit of a luxury move. 2 moves just to squeeze Saka in. Nah, just stick with what you got, mate, I reckon. Do you think Bowen fits the striker role? I don't mind Kudus. Bowen can play on the right or up front. I think the one thing with Bowen is he will always play most well. He might not play tonight this week because he obviously had an injury. I think he will, though. The thing is with Bowen is he's now to start in a forward position, whether that be on the right or through the middle. So yeah, I just really like Bowen. Zach, sound, mate. Kettle, you said thank you. I can't quite remember what you say thank you for, but you're welcome. If I've helped you, all I can ask in return is you subscribe. If you could subscribe, it's completely free. That'd be lovely. Subscribe and leave a like on the stream. I've got Salah, Son, Martinelli, and Bumo, Gibbs, White, Alvarez, and Isak. Should I drop someone? Nah, just leave it. Don't drop anyone for Watkins there. I'll do Victor's question. I think the yellow cards accumulate. There you go. I'm not actually sure on the answer. They were really confusing then. Should I drop on that one? Scared of Saka? Yeah, I think you're just going to have to roll with it, unfortunately, mate. Watch it behind the sofa tonight. I reckon Son takes the pens, though, Unish. I would bench Darwin. Oh, God. Then would I? Yeah, I think I would, because I just don't think Darwin plays. But then it's got Sheffield United. Levi J, I'm going to help you, mate. Name a runner for an edit. Harry Akins Ariti. Look at this dude. Look at this geezer. This is my runner for an edit. Look at the size of that geezer. You can't see it. I don't know why I'm not on screen share. That's my runner for an edit. Absolute specimen. Here you go, running for life. Unless you want a long distance runner, then I'll name someone else. But yeah, that's my runner for an edit. Oh, you can't talk if you're not subscribed? Well, there you go. What a winner. I forgot I put it on subscribers only mode. Well, it's all I ask in return anyway. So long distance, you want a long distance runner. People crack in the chat, by the way. Name some long distance runners for running for life. I was going to do for Lever, I was going to do a spin the wheel. I forgot that I put it on subs only. Lol. The last time I did this, my laptop crashed, so we're going to do it very quickly and then click off it. Mate, just tell me your FPL ID or team name and we'll crack it in Draft Hound and have a look. It's saying to bench Watkins, which actually I probably agree with. There you go. Watkins is your winner on the spin the wheel, mate. Areola, Pinnock, Lascelles, Simicast, Salah, and Bumo. Saka, Diaby, Son, Haaland, and Darwin. All good or replace. Yeah. I mean, Diaby potentially for Gordon. And likewise, you could bring in Dubravka for your substitute goalkeeper. Those are the two things. I'm going to go. Right, I'm going to Google long distance runners. I'm going to have to say, if you've not done it already, Mo Farah, because it's basically all I've heard of. Paula Radcliffe's the other one I've heard of. The rest I'm not massive. Oh, Galen Rupp, there you go. Put Galen Rupp in it. I've heard of him. The American. Put him in. Galen Rupp. There you go. There's your distance runner. He's pretty good, isn't he? Well, Ruppy. Melvin, you're very welcome. Fancy a punt on Luis Diaz and Jesus? Jesus possibly, but he's just not been amongst the goals or assists this season. He's not given us anything to go by, really. You know what I mean? Is Gordon starting? I don't know. I'm not sure. Not 100% sure. I reckon he probably does. Mbino FC. Let's have a look at Mbino FC. If anyone else wants their team looked at, by the way, crack it in the chat and we'll have a look. We've already done a heck of a lot already, but... John, I will have a look at your team, pal. Ooh, I would do Neto to Dubravka and start Dubravka. Yeah, lovely. Casa Trippier. That's beautiful. And then I would personally consider Douglas Luiz to Gordon if you don't want to get Dubravka, because you'll be tripled up on Newcastle then. Victor is next. I have to prioritise Victor as a member. Thank you, Victor. Absolute legend. Already did Areola to Dubravka. Oh, I'd roll. I'm looking at that team and I'm thinking, it's great. You've done your transfer. Yeah, just roll. Just roll. this is probably how I'd line up with Dubravka in goal. I just don't think there's anything there, mate. There's nothing there to take out or change. I really like it. I really like that. Gahey or Lascelles? I go Lascelles. No worries, Victor. Sorry I can't really offer any advice, but my advice is don't do anything. I think it's great. John was next. Have a look at John. 557 4921. Tea drinker, eh? Just checking that was the right team. Oh, wow. Great team. Again, I just considered Douglas Luiz to Gordon. I think that could make sense. You bought Hwang for Gordon. That is interesting. I would bench Palmer, Will Hope, I think, of that lot. God, that's painful. Uh, 133260. Levi J, help me out. I'll try, mate. This is a Turner to Dubravka and Roll team, if ever I've seen one. And just rock with this. I think it's a good team. I wouldn't worry too much about Taylor, and if you are, play Pinnock. Susanna. I don't know if it's meant to be Susanna or it is an R on the end. That is quite interesting. 72827. Daniel, interesting. Did you like a sister's YouTube account or something? I just do Turner to Dubravka. Just do Turner to Dubravka. You've got a bench, but yeah, Turner to Dubravka, mate. I think it'd be fine. That's what I'd do. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps. Go back to my team now. Although, I ain't got much to say, really. I mean, that's it, innit? I did have a little piece on the 3.9 million goalkeepers, but I mean, I think literally everyone's team that could possibly do it, I recommended they get Dubravka in, so nothing more to say on that, really. I think it's time to get on the Dubravka train, because it's a pretty risk-free thing to do, especially if you sell Turner for him, because Turner isn't even playing. Do you know what I mean? I think it just makes sense. And if Newcastle sign someone, you've replaced a keeper that doesn't play for a keeper that doesn't play. Like, very low risk move, isn't it? And Dubravka and Areola, I think, rotate pretty nicely. I know Areola's been terrible, but he has got good fixtures. Bloody hell. Done 2,700 subscribers. Thank you very much, everyone, for helping me along to that. Sorry about that. This is my team. Oh, no worries. You put in the wrong ID. It's an easy mistake. It's an easy mistake, mate. I would probably do Flecken to Dubravka, Nikolai, just because it saves you a bit more cash. And there is probably rarely a week where where Flecken would probably outscore him. So you might as well just have Areola. That'd be my thoughts anyway. I got him in for 3.9 million, Philippe. I would play the same rules though. Who was it? Levi. I would do the same. I'd consider actually playing Solanke over Darwin if you don't think Darwin's going to play. And then I'd just do Turner to Dubravka. And then you've got probably enough in the bank after that to do something with cash next week. But right now, Turner to Dubravka, mate. I reckon that's sound. Did you watch the Euros draw? No, I didn't. I didn't watch it. I was in the stadium in Bristol for our game where we lost in the last minute to Norwich. But no, I didn't. What have we got? What are your thoughts about Game Week 18 and how to prepare your squad with Man City and Brentford blanking? The reason I haven't bought in Bumo and then I have 3 players to replace, yeah, that's fair enough. I think you just need to have a bench that plays, like I kind of have. But yeah, I mean, I've only got 2 players I need to worry about. So, but yeah, you just need to have a bench that can cover it, really. Or if you've got loads and loads of players, you can free hit. Don't think there's a better week to free hit, really, than when half your team is missing. That's a decent time to use it, you know? I just don't think it's that deep. Just approach it logically and rationally for me. If you've got lots of players that won't play and you can't cover them with your bench, then you've got your free hit chip. But otherwise, yeah, just use your bench, really. That'd be my thoughts. I would play doggy of that lot, Oliver. Up the Bristol, indeed. You need to search the Euros draw. Well, I know England have got Denmark. What do you think is going to happen in that game, Victor? I think Denmark are a very good national team. Like, defensively, you lot are really, really strong. And that is, defences in international tournaments are really important. Teams that do well are the teams that concede the fewest goals. And Denmark have a really strong defence. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting. Imagine if France don't qualify. I didn't hear the background sounds, no. Is that why you're telling me to watch it? What I'm going to do, I'm going to play it on, I'm going to Google, right, let's, what happened in the background? Oh, okay. Okay. Did it happen again, did it? I'm not going to play a video on my YouTube channel, but I know exactly what happened by reading that on Google. That's a really good question, Evan. What does the chat think? What do you think in the chat? Would you start? We'll help you out even more, Evan. We'll have other people help you alongside me. Would you start Reece James or Gabriel, chat? What do you reckon? I reckon Højlund is good up top, you know. I think he is good. He can hold the ball up, which is really important. Gabriel this week, after that, James. Yeah, a few people saying Gabriel. I think I'm inclined to agree with them on Gabriel. Hopefully that helps you, Evan. There you go. Cheers, chat. Appreciate you all. Appreciate you. Isaac, Simon Shorts, Victor and Alexandru, Philippe as well, Oliver Pepper. Thank you. Bring in Haaland next week for -4 or wait until after the blank? It's a good question, actually, isn't it? What's the captaincy swing like? So who does Haaland have next week? Luton away. Salah has Crystal Palace away. I think you can wait. It just depends. Like, it's the same point, really. If you can cover someone off your bench, like if you can deal with Haaland being out in game week 18, then I'd probably do it. But yeah, you probably go without him as well. I have 2 free transfers. Have Morris, Cash, and Diaby. What do you think of Cash to Romero, Morris to Cunha? I'd just say Watkins, Isaac. I know Palmer has the penalties over him, but I think Watkins is the more attacking and bigger threat, even against Man City. But Villa Park, no Rodri. I think he could do all right. That's my thoughts on Watkins this week. Paul Dolan, as for your question, it's really tough. I don't mind it, but I think you should get one of the Spurs fullbacks instead of Romero. Maurice Acunha's fine. I'm just not massively excited by the Wolves forwards. That's just me personally, though. They don't fill me with excitement. I know they've got Burnley up next, which is obviously a good game, but after that, I just wouldn't fancy them massively. I mean, exactly what Sidemen Short say. I think it will be France and England. That is the final, basically. Whoever wins out of those two teams in a match is going to win the tournament, in my opinion. And I think it'd probably be France. They're just so good. I know I'm English, but I just think France are just so good. Neto is back soon. That's a good point. Does that mean Cunha doesn't play if Neto comes back? Oh, there you go. There you go, Victor. Well, I'm not sure it does because the ban for yellow cards is for total yellows. So you get a 1-game ban for 5 yellows and a 2-game ban for 10. What Evan said, that might be something to, I can't remember who was talking about Haaland out, but what Evan said there is a good way to think about it. Neto is a winger, yeah, but Hwang plays up front. I just don't know how it works, to be honest. Palmer v Gordon, I would say Gordon. I'd rather have Gordon in my team than Palmer, as you can see. Yeah, I think I'd just rather have Gordon in my team than Palmer, based on what we've seen so far. He's just doing a bit more, isn't he, Gordon? Bear with, I'm doing this after a full day of work. Thoughts on Cash? Feels like there are other transfers that take more priority. Yeah, I think so. I've just got, as you can see, mate, I've just got him on my bench. I think, yeah, mainly looking at blank game week 18, he can come in, play Sheffield United. Exactly. Yeah, I agree. That's my plan anyway. I'm just going to bench him for the next couple of weeks. I'll have bigger. I think with Botman coming back, Lascelles might stop playing as well. So I need to deal with him. And I think that will be more of a priority than Cash for me. I've only been playing FPL seriously for the past few years. What's a good rank to aim for? I'd say like elite rank would be top 100k. Anything in the top 500,000 is really good. And then if you're in the top 10k, you're in dreamland basically. That'd be my thoughts. I'd say first year, definitely try and not first year, past few years, yeah. That'd be my thoughts on ranks. Play Alvarez and roll over transfer or transfer in Darwin. Oh, play Alvarez. Play Alvarez, mate. I'm doing very well, spaghetti and beans. Will I transfer Mitchell out? That's another good question, isn't it? He got really tough games. Yeah, I could consider it. I'm just taking it week by week, really. I'll have 2 frees. The way it's going, I'll have 2 free transfers next week. So yeah, I could take it just game by game. And I got 1.1 million in the bank. So I could, good grief, I could do Mitchell to Reece James. And then I've also got Cash, who I could bring in Colwill for, something like that. Could do Mitchell to Reece James, couldn't I? That's not too bad. I'd go Johnston. Merwan Hamza, I'd go Johnson over Areola. I wouldn't be worried about him returning this week. I think Lascelles is going to play this week, probably next game week as well. And then I do think Botman could come back. I reckon Lascelles has got a couple games left. Branthwaite's there at the same price. I wouldn't worry too much. And I'd hedge a bet that you have a bit in the bank at the moment in FPL. Most players that I've seen teams from, especially with the introduction of Dubravka, have a bit of cash in the bank now. So I think you'd be all right. I wish you luck, Evan. Good luck, my friend. Everyone in the chat, wish Evan good luck. I want to hear back from you, Evan, how Reece James does. Well, we all know, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I don't know how I've done it, Victor, to be honest. I think I've been quite lucky. I'm not going to lie. I kept Watkins and Bowen last week, which could have gone either way. I just got lucky, really. What can I say? How did I do last week? This is how I did last week. 74 points. Bloody Martinez. Best goalkeeper in the world this guy's meant to be. Look at his points. Doesn't get any points. Most points I've had in a game out of him is 4. And I bought him on game week, like 9 wildcard for those fixtures. I played it in game week 8. I had Wolves, West Ham, Luton, Forest, Fulham, Bournemouth. Didn't keep a single clean sheet. He's the best goalkeeper in the world, this bloke, apparently. Shocking. Now he's on my bench. I've Eric Ten Hag'd him. I've exiled him from the squad. Levi J, what was your question? Who was your benching headache again? I'm pretty sure I did a spin the wheel for you, and it was bench Watkins. Might be wrong. Would you back Sanchez against Man U? Probably not. But I think of all games to end 0-0, Man United v Chelsea is a decent shout. I would go Kufal. Definitely do Kufal as your first sub. Mate, that Martinez season was unbelievable, wasn't it? He as a keeper hasn't gotten any worse, I don't think, but it's just Villa have played differently. Edwards, or who's Edward? Edouard, is that? I play Palmer over Edouard. Ooh. I've been live for an hour and a half, and I'm absolutely desperate for a pee. I won't lie. I really need a wee. So I think I'm just going to have a quick wee, if that's all right. I'll be back in like 2 minutes. But yeah, nature's calling after an hour and a half of being live. So, oh, that's the wrong screen. I'm just going to go for a wee. I'll be back in a sec. God, wow, since I went live, it got dark outside. If you go back to the start of the stream, it was light out there, and now it's not light, and I haven't even looked out the window since I started. Good to have you in the chat, Ben. Hope you're well, mate. I'm guessing you just got back from work, so I appreciate you joining me. I'm all good, pal. I'll tell you what, Garnacho at 4.7 million is not the worst option in the world. I don't mind it. Reason I don't mind it is because Rashford, he didn't track back once against Newcastle. Ten Hag's not going to like that at all. I think Rashford's been the one doing the media spinner reel this week as well. I really do. So for that reason, I think Garnacho could be playing. Is it not? Ooh, Adingra to Garnacho? Nah, because Adingra's just nailed in that team, isn't it? Isn't he? Go for it, Ben. Tweet me your fan team, and I'll crack it up on screen. I'm just going to do me blind if that's all right. It's gotten dark. I'm just going to grab a little cookie if that's all right. I'm going to have a cookie to keep me fueled on the stream. So I'll be back in a sec. Have a quick look at Twitter as well, see if the world has blown up while I've been away in terms of leaks. It's just swings and roundabouts, isn't it, Oliver? And ultimately, and I think you'll be probably the first to admit this, despite your high finish last year, I think when you finish in such like an elite rank, you have to put some of it to luck. Obviously, you've done great to be there and made some really smart and wise plays, but some of it obviously relies on a bit of luck. So it's just the way the game goes sometimes. I'm waiting, Ben. Waiting for your tweet, mate. Nkunku's fitness is a joke, isn't it? He took another knock this week, so he might. Like, how ridiculous is that? How ridiculous is that? Clean my screen. We've got Nkunku and Reece James at the moment. And ultimately, I guess the only rank that matters in FPL, and I'm saying this is someone that's currently, what am I, 130k? 150k. Only matters at the end. Here we go. Here's Ben's team. I would take Areola out for Dubravka, because Dubravka's 5 million in fan team, which I actually think is pretty decent value. So I'd consider that. That's what I've done this week. I'd definitely start Udogie in defence. I'd also consider bringing in Craig Dawson, because he's got Burnley. Number one, Burnley are one of the worst teams I've ever seen at defending set pieces. And we all know what Craig Dawson can do with his head, right? He's an absolute battering ram. So he could do well there. What else would I do? You could get Bowen in for Fernandes, because Bowen's playing again. Likewise, can you see my thoughts from -4? What are your plans? Oh, thoughts from -4. Here we go. Yeah, I like your thoughts for -4, but I don't think you need to buy Reece James. I think you can get away with not having Reece James there. I like the Son pick. Yeah, I do like the Son pick. Raya pick, I don't mind that as well, to be fair. I think you could probably do 2 and just not buy James. Who would James be replacing? Am I missing something? Because I reckon you could get away this week. You could get away with it. You could not buy Reece James this week and not take the hit. Because you could have Porro, Agard, and Udogie in defence. Because I don't think it's worth 4 points to bring in Reece James this week. Mitoma's fine, yeah. I think Mitoma's fine. Especially against Brentford. Brighton have scored, I think, for 20 consecutive Premier League games now. So I'd almost definitely say Mitoma is okay. I think I'd start Cole Palmer. Yeah, Mitoma's fit, isn't he? Be a joke if he didn't start. Weekend just gone. Oh yeah, he played 33 minutes against Chelsea. That would imply to me that, that was his cameo appearance to get fit, and now he's fit to play 90. That would be my thoughts. I'd say that's for you, Ben. You to decide that one, Ben. I'd say Raya is definitely nailed now. I don't think Ramsdale's getting a start in the Premier League again. Unless it's obviously against Brentford. Right, a couple of teams then. Arvid, Engstrom. Or Engstrom. I think it's an isn't it, with that umlaut over the O. 379864. Thanks for putting up with me eating a cookie on stream, by the way. Hopefully I did that in a nice way. Oh, wow. Wow. Who should I start or captain? Blimey. Captain Salah. Definitely Captain Salah. I would probably start Højlund over DRB. I don't know what people in the chat... I don't know what the chat thinks. I know Højlund's only got 3.5 expected points. I know. But I think I would start him over DRB. I think there's more value in getting rid of Aged. Because Areola, the way that Fan Team works, where you get half a point per save, I think Areola will still be alright, because he'll just make saves and get decent points. That's not necessarily reflected as well in FPL, because you only get 2 points, no matter how many saves people make. But in the Fan Team, you get half a point per save, which is really powerful. There's no upper limit for it. I don't know what language that name beginning with W is, but would I be right to say, hopefully it's not offensive, and forgive me if it's not, but I'd be interested to know what that translates to before I say it, if it does indeed translate to anything. Arvid, so yeah, it will know your team as per last game week, if that makes sense. So it won't know what transfers you've... no need to say it, no worries. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to Google it before I say it. I can pronounce that, but I'm just going to check that it's not... I don't know. I just feel like there are trolls out there. Habesha, I will get to your comment. It means swearing by Allah, apparently. See, I don't know. I don't want to offend anyone by saying it, but there's no beef, mate. There's no, absolutely. I will help you by answering your question. I'll put it behind me straight away. I play Dubravka. I'm tying myself in knots here, aren't I? I'm forgetting about it already. I'm playing Dubravka, mate. I'm responding to your comment and playing Dubravka. Start Darwin or Palmer. That's so tough. That's why I've ignored it, to be honest, because it's so hard. I don't know. I think that's another one for the chat. Anyone in the chat got a thought on that? Would you start Darwin or Palmer? Let me know. Well, don't let me know. Help Habesha out. Group think, mate. Group think. It's 50-50. Niels, I'll definitely help you out, mate. Let's have a look-see. Yeah, Arvid, hopefully I've helped you, but this will look at your team as per the deadline last week. I mean, why not both? That is a good question. I always say that when someone has such a debate in terms of who to play, is there someone that's playing that probably shouldn't be? As for this team, looking at Niels' team, I would do Turner to Dubravka and roll and just leave it. Turner to Dubravka, start Dubravka, leave it. Oh, you got Nketiah. Honest opinion here, I would really consider doing Nketiah to Semenyo. And then with your extra million, you could potentially buy Cole Palmer for Nakamba next week. You see where I'm going with that? So Nketiah to Semenyo would buy you $1 million. And then that should afford you enough to do Nakamba to Palmer next week. So you'd have to start Semenyo this week. He's got Crystal Palace, could score, could do all right. And then you can get Cole Palmer in next week. And then just bench Semenyo. How about that? Don't do the goalkeeper transfer. Do what I said. How does that sound? Does mean you have to play Johnston v Liverpool, though. But I think you could do that. Craig Dawson, Ben. Defenders in fan team are so pants, aren't they? I'd just do Craig Dawson this week, to be honest. Should you have a look on? All right, I'm going to log into the fan team game to help Ben out here, but you'll see my password and email if I log in when I'm screen sharing. So I'm going to just go on this screen if that's all right for a second. It's gone now, but I accidentally leaked my phone number on one of my first live streams by doing this, but I've deleted any sign of it from the annals of the internet, so we learn. We can see it from the reflection of your glasses. Any big hackers in here? Fancy having a look? You can't do it now, can you, eh? Doesn't mean I have to do that when I look at the screen. I think I'm signing in. Yeah, see? Oh, Christ. It's all that. It's honestly, right? I spend so long. It's terrible. I have a terrible eye lifestyle because I spend so long at this desk looking at a screen, and there's no window behind me, so my eyes spend most of the day focusing on something so close to me, and that just makes them worse. One thing, by the way, if your eyes are still good, make sure, or they're getting worse, make sure every 20 minutes, half an hour or so, your eyes focus on something far away. Because the muscles that focus your eyes atrophy if you don't, which is what's happened to me, and that's why I wear glasses. There you go. We're going to look at fan team defenders, aren't we? I'll do that quickly for Ben. Looking at the reflection in the picture frame behind me. Bloody hell. Mate, if you can get my password from that, you can have it, as far as I'm concerned. Fair enough. Fair enough. You're entitled to all my... No, I'm joking. You're not, but yeah. Here's my team, Ben, for what it's worth. It's not too bad, is it? Bit worried about Isak not playing. But yeah, the defenders are just pants, aren't they? They're just pants. Because they're so expensive. Like, I don't mind the Palace boys, but then their fixtures get really tough. Goalkeepers, I'd say Dubravka's up there because it's not that much of a downgrade on Pope. And Pope is currently the top scoring goalkeeper. Leno's up there because of his saves volume. Actually, is Leno got... What's his fixtures like? Hey, those fixtures ain't bad apart from the Newcastle one. Don't mind Leno. Honestly, you can't... I mean, Areola, right? He's not too bad. He's not too bad. It'll just get you saves, basically. And you could go Dan Bentley as well. What's Dan Bentley worth? Because he's going to be playing, isn't he? What has happened to... Yeah, he's 4 million is Dan Bentley. What's his fixtures like? What's the nature of the Sarr injury? Because Dan Bentley, mate. Oh, he's confident the injury isn't serious. Oh, he's ready to face Burnley already. Oh, well, forget about Dan Bentley then. God, Philippe's on it already, isn't he? He knows the news before I've even Googled it. 5.7 million. Which defender would I pick? I think... It's all right, Ben. You don't need to apologise for asking questions, mate. I think I would say Saliba. I just think I'd say Saliba. Based on that, Saliba. Don't worry about asking questions. I know this is a different game to FPL, but the points are scored for the same reason. So if anyone sees players on that list they fancy, all the prices are different, don't get me wrong. But I think I'd say Saliba based on that lot. Yeah, go Saliba, mate. Give it Saliba to end the season. James is aggressive. You could go Reece James as well. That's, to be honest, I think I'm going to buy Reece James in FPL. And the reason, well, get burnt. What does getting burned by Reece James mean? Because the alternatives are pretty shocking. Like, defenders this season have not been that great. It's not like, we've got a Cancelo. We've got a Trippier who's obviously doing well. Trent is 8 million. I think that's ridiculously expensive. I just think, yes, you could get burnt on Reece James, but you're not really going to get smashed by other defenders, if that makes sense. Like, I mean, the most another defender's going to score is probably 6 points. So yeah, James is there if you've got good backups. I agree with Neil's. Like, there's very little downside, I think, to going for him with the state of the rest of the game and the defenders in it. That would be my thoughts. It's probably famous last words from me, isn't it? But yeah. Will Reece James start? I think he starts this week. And then the question is, does he start next week? Depends how many minutes he gets. If he plays the full 90 against Man United, he probably could get rotated because his next fixture is Everton. Would I be right in saying it's Everton? My encyclopedic knowledge of fixtures here. I'm pretty sure it's Everton. Yeah, it is Everton. So he's ready. Do they have a midweek game? They don't, do they? So you got to think. Yeah, I mean, God, it's just fun, isn't it? Why not? It's exciting, that, isn't it? It's not an easy fixture. No, it's not, which probably backs up the claim that he might play. But what I would say is it depends how many minutes he gets against Man United. If he doesn't play against Man United, he's going to start against Everton. If he plays limited minutes against United, I think there's a chance he starts. If he plays the full 90 against United, I'd question if he starts. Saliba's only got one route to points, right? I'll admit he's only got one route to points. But when you look at him in terms of top scoring defenders, he's right up there. One route to points, he's the third highest scoring defender in the game. So, his attacking threat is far lower, but he scored more points than Trent this season. I don't know if this is controversial to say, but is Saliba rotation proof? He's the only one that's not been dropped yet. And the reason Arsenal I think the reason Arsenal crumbled last season is because he got injured. I think if Saliba stayed fit last season, Arsenal might have won the league. Like, this is another question I wanted to ask the chat last stream when we were talking about Saliba. Do we think Saliba is the best centre-back in the world? Because based on everything I've seen of him so far, he's the best centre-back in the world at the moment. I can't think of a defender that's better than him. That might be controversial to say for some. Maguire. I think Virgil van Dijk has put in 4 or 5 really good performances now this season, to be fair. Ruben Diaz, he wasn't that great yesterday. Oh, sorry, on Sunday. Do you know what I mean? Like, Saliba, he's consistently really, really good. And he has, He's got all the physical traits you want in a centre back. He's rapid, strong, good in the air, good on the ball. He's just unbelievable. And they had him out on loan. When he was on loan at Marseille, he would have been better than anyone else. Oh, don't talk to me about Norwich, mate. I want to forget that. I'd already forgotten that game. Can you check under there? Check under where? I've scrolled down accidentally. There's the fixtures. No, what do you mean check underwear? Made you say underwear. Jesus. Jesus Christ, what has this stream come to, eh? 15th, I reckon 9th. There you go. That's my prediction. I reckon we get to the final game of the season. We're against a team currently in the playoffs. We're in a playoff 6-pointer on the last day of the season, and we lose it. That's what I reckon happens to Bristol City this season. It's just written all over us. I just don't think we've got the quality to do it. We've got a really good coach now, in my opinion, but yeah, it's just not quite there. Predicted lineups, I use a fantastic resource. You should definitely use this too, because it's completely free. The league is awful, but it's also the best quality the Championship has been since I've known, because of the 3 teams that got relegated. Jump the Wave on Twitter. So obviously it's a working day today, so I don't know if Emma probably actually has a full-time job. So amazing that she's done it. Emma at Jump the Wave on Twitter. I'm not going to go through it all myself. Actually, I'll let you guys go through it in your own time, because it's really hard and will take a lot of time. Emma at Jump the Wave on Twitter. She is the best account for predicted lineups there is. There's a spreadsheet, each team, percentage likelihood of each player to start. It's all there. Darwin is 41% to play for Newcastle, for Liverpool this week. That's of interest. But Errol, yeah, at Jump the Wave on Twitter, mate. Have a look yourself. I recommend. Because yeah, you'll want to know specifics that just look yourself. Well, Southampton, Leeds, and Leicester are just the 3. I don't think Darwin will start. But I still think he's dangerous off the bench. Are you having a look at teams? Spaghetti and beans, I've already had a look at teams, but if you want your team looked at, I can have a look at your team, pal. Not a problem. Send me your ID. Do the usual. And I'll have a look. 6216. This 6216? He's 10k overall. Oh, no. No. Who he is? He's 10k overall, this bloke. Bloody hell. I would do Turner to Dubravka, shock. And I'd probably consider doing Cash to Udogi or Porro. Probably Udogi, because I don't think you can afford Porro. But that's what I would consider doing, I reckon. Yeah. Because you wouldn't... Yeah, I'd do that. I'd do Dubravka in for Turner. And if you've not, and probably consider Udogi in for Cash. I'd start Watkins. I think just... God, I think you must have someone else to bench instead of those two, though. Or he did cash to Lascelles. Ah, you mentioned that, didn't you? Yeah, that's fine. It's fine for a couple of weeks, isn't it? Is Bruno a must get rid with next 2 games? What are the next 2? Honestly, yes, Bruno to Son is definitely worth it. If you can do it, I would. But I just think you could. Bruno Fernandes is a player you could hold all season. He'll play every game, probably get between 15 and 20 attacking returns across the season. What more could you want? But if you can get him to Son, then I think I would do that. But like Bruno, the thing is, he doesn't miss a minute. He takes penalties, even though he gave the last one to Rashford. Just see. Even if Man United crap, he's going to score goals and get assists. I think he's all right. Hopefully that's a logical and rational thing to say. Zinchenko for cash, I don't mind it, except for the fact that Zinchenko played at the weekend. And will he start? Will he start against Luton, or will they favour a more physical player at left back, or slightly change their formation? Yeah, that's my point, Ben. I would do Bruno to Son if I could, but if that was a hit or at them, yeah, I do Bruno to Son. Gordon Hamilton, we shall definitely have a look at your team, mate. Oh, don't want to contact support. Didn't mean to do that. 169 3771. Gordon for Diaby, I don't mind that at all. Gordon Hamilton. This is a team that I would do Turner to Dubravka in and leave it. That'd be what I'd do. Bowen or Martinelli for the next 6? I'd say Bowen. I'd always say Bowen because he's going to play every game. He's going to play every game for 90 minutes. And they probably have better fixtures-ish. Just, I reckon. I just really like Bowen. Martinelli's not done it yet this season, has he? Whereas Bowen, he had a disappointing game in Game Week 14. Don't get me wrong. But I do like him over Martinelli still. And the fixtures, right? Could Spurs away, could score in that one. Fulham, Wolves could definitely score. Man United could definitely score. Arsenal's a tough one. And then Brighton, Sheffield United, Bournemouth are great. Big ups, Ben. I'm off to the gym too around 7:30. I got deadlifts. Along with some other full body things tonight. But yeah, we're going to be doing some big deadlifts. Have a good session, mate. What is your session on, Ben? You doing? He's probably gone. He's probably gone already. Good training to you too. Interested to know how many people in the chat are go to the gym, or yeah, how many people in the chat are lifters? You got any lifters in the chat? That was a very southwesterly accent there. Oh, bloody hell, Ben. No, you didn't tell me that. That's terrible. I'm really sorry to hear that, mate. How did that all happen? Did you do that while you were lifting? On like a broken machine or something? You didn't tell me. You don't have to do it through the chat if it's private, of course, but yeah. That sounds terrible. I try, so I swim. I'm a competitive swimmer, but I've had an ear infection for the last week or so. It's much better now, but I've been holding off the swimming just to get better. Holy shit, Ben. I'm really sorry to hear that, mate. That's terrible. Holy shit. Well, yeah, obviously breaking your thumb and tendons and ligaments in hands is, it's really quite bad, actually. You in a sling and a cast, or just like a hand cast? That's terrible. I'm really sorry to hear that. And yeah, you should most definitely put a claim through for the facility. I don't know what personal damage claims etc. are like, but you should get some cash out of that. That's pretty rubbish, though, isn't it? So I guess it's leg day for Ben then. Sorry to laugh, but I guess it is leg day for you at the moment. Your legs are going to be huge, and so is your bank account, hopefully. So there's always an upside. Yeah, hopefully your recovery doesn't take too long, mate. You got any idea how long it might take? I guess, well, knowing what you've done there, you've been to a doctor or the hospital, so hopefully you're back in action in a couple of months, few months, I guess. I'd bench Huang. No, I wouldn't. I would bench Simic. Oh, God, that's horrendous. I can't answer that. What do people think on FPL BMR's question? 8, 7 or 8 weeks. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'd start Dubravka. I'd start the best defence. Well, the team that's kept the most clean sheets, I'd start them. Bench Simicast. Yep. See you, Ben. Have a good one, mate. Gordon for Diaby? Yeah, I like it. Currently benching Alvarez. Interesting. I would say I would rather bench Watkins than Alvarez out of those two. Just because Alvarez takes free kicks and is pretty good at them as well. Diaby and James Ward-Prowse to Gordon and Palmer for a -4. I wouldn't take the -4. No. Yeah, poor Ben. Hope he gets better soon. Absolutely, mate. What a shitter. That's pretty freaking awful, isn't it? You just go out and play 3G footy with your mates in 3G and you end up falling in a hole. That's pretty wrong. I'm just thinking, Clement. I'm just thinking, mate. I think I'd just do James Ward-Prowse to Gordon. Yeah, me and Victor. So you put that message in. I know there's a bit of a delay on the stream. Victor put that message in at the exact time that I said James Ward-Prowse to Gordon then. But yeah, I think it makes sense to do that. And then you can do DRB to Palmer next week, something like that. Evening Lee, Daction, I'll have a look. Is it on DM? I'll just switch to a different screen so I don't open up my DMs on stream. There we go. Yeah, I like it. Just bear in mind, Bentley's not playing. Not that it matters. You just want a 3.9, don't you? God, I really like that. That's a really nice wild card. Only thing I would say is I'd like a second striker. I wouldn't want two bench fodder strikers. I'd want a second one, I think, because then that means you're 4 at the back every week, and I don't like that. I'd like 3 at the back. Defenders have been so poor this season. I really would consider a second striker over 4 at the back. I'd consider potentially dropping Bowen to Cole Palmer and then upgrading Mubama in some way. That might help you out. I just wouldn't. I'd be worried going in with just Haaland, particularly when he blanks in game week 18, because then you'll need to play a striker, and it's not ideal. That's what I'd say on that. I'll just come off the DM. Hopefully that's something to think about, though. And I'm not saying your team is bad. I'm just offering my thoughts. I'm not saying you need to do what I say either. But hopefully that helps you, pal. Hopefully it gives you something to think about. I better do my tweet, haven't I? You got to tweet your team every week, haven't you? We'll just do a quick tweet. We'll just quickly tweet the team. That's what you got to do. Just screenshotting it a sec, lads. I just think if you have Dubravka and Areola, it's your goalkeeper double up. You're sound, really. What rank? 158k. This is how most people do their tweets, isn't it? So I'm just looking for emojis. I look like a granddad looking down at his newspaper at the moment. But there we go. There's the emojis. Oh, come on. I want the recycle emoji. There we go. Oh, Jose Sarr will play, mate. He's fit again. That's what Gary O'Neill said. To be honest, actually, and I've gone without Son. Just saying, and I'm 158k, so it does work. You can go without him. I've not had Son all season. I've just not been able to fit him in. So yeah, I don't mind that. Solanke's a good option. I like Solanke. He just takes penalties, plays every game for 90 minutes. That ticks so many boxes for you in FPL. You can start him every week if you wanted to, just with those attributes. Because with penalties, he could score one. He could get a penalty against anyone, couldn't he? Oh, Victor Franco on the tweets already. Look at that. He's liking my tweet as soon as I send it. What a legend. Oh, I didn't put the picture in. What a twat. Well, we'll do that again, shall we? I see you put in the chat, remember the picture, and I was like, what's he talking about, remember the picture? And that's what he was talking about, remember the picture. I thought you were like talking about a picture that I showed on stream in the past or something. I forgot the screenshot of my own team. What a donut. I feel I'm in a really nice position at the moment in FPL. I'm not gonna lie. It's quite a fortunate position to be at the rank I'm at with 2 free transfers. Considering last week with Bowen and Watkins both flagged, I was shitting it because I thought, oh my god, both these guys are not going to play. I'm in real trouble they played. And it's just, I think it's luck, to be honest, that I didn't take them out more than anything. To be honest, I wouldn't captain Trent. Ooh, actually, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Could keep a clean sheet, could get a return. I don't mind it. I guess what I'm trying to say is I feel I've been quite lucky. But I'm in a good position as a result. Yeah, the spin the wheel it worked, didn't it, mate? I didn't put the picture in again, did I? I didn't put the picture in again. I forgot the picture again, lads. What a donut. I'm a complete donut. I forgot the picture again. We're not good at this, are we? There we go. There's the team, look. Christ, I'm terrible at this. There we go. You know. Twitter Blue coming in clutch, eh? You can edit that. I know, I'm terrible. Dubravka for I don't know what I've done, mate. I don't know what I've done. Anyway, we're sorted. It's sorted now. Yeah, Jose Sardak. One thing I do know is that I read an article. You must have been on the stream when I went through it. I read an article that said Gary O'Neill said that Jose Sarr is fit to play. So yeah. Sterling or Dawson? Oh. Did I write Turner for Areola, did I? What a shocker. What a shocker. It's really hard to type. Oh, well, I don't know if you guys find it too, but because I'm concentrating on having like a conversation with the chat, I've got something on my screen that I'm typing. Things like confuse in my brain, so I start then typing out things that I'm writing and forget to do things, and yeah, that's what happened. But we got it right in the end. Would you start Semenyo or Douglas Luiz? Ooh. You don't need to delete your... Oh, right. Oh, he sent it again, didn't he? I'm thinking long and hard about that one. My gut says Douglas Luiz, but other places of my body say Semenyo. I can't decide between the two. I'm torn, mate. I'm torn. I'm not gonna lie. I'm torn. I think it's a very valid question because it's really hard to answer. Yeah, I know, Hugo. I know. I was thinking. I actually think Craig Dawson. You know, I think he's got a chance of scoring a goal from a set piece because Burnley are terrible at defending set pieces, and I also think he's got a chance of keeping a clean sheet. So, I don't mind. I can't believe I'm saying it, but I don't mind Craig Dawson. I don't know what the rest of the chat think. I'm actually I'm telling someone to pick Craig Dawson over Raheem Sterling. I can't believe I'm doing that, but I actually think I will. Yeah, Sidemen Shorts. I'm going to go to the gym after this stream. But then when I get back from the gym, I'll crack the Arsenal game on. It's on Amazon, isn't it? So pretty much anyone can watch it, which is fantastic. Oh, well, I appreciate that very much. I appreciate that very much. I'm going to bottle that compliment by mispronouncing your name, but I'm going to say Malte. Malte, is that correct? Malte Kurth? Something like that? My apologies if I have pronounced that incorrectly, but I thank you very much for your kind comment. I did German in school. So my German is obviously absolutely fantastic. Was hast du Geburtstag? Ich habe Englisch in der ersten Stunde. Mein Name ist Tom. There you go. It's gone well at it, this German. Ich habe ein Audi. I don't actually drive an Audi, but yeah, there you go. He's probably gone now. He's probably just left the stream. I've spoken in. Oh, there we go. I don't even understand what he's just said to me. Very good. Das super. Ich bin in Hannover geboren. Cheers, lads. Please don't ask me to do any more. Should I transfer Diaby to Willian? All right, so I don't know, Alfie, if you were in the FPL Tom live stream on was it Sunday night or last night? I can't remember. I was watching him basically. He was on there with a mate. I'm pretty sure his mate was called Jake, if I'm not mistaken. And Jake was saying that Willian was a better option than Jared Bowen. I wasn't entirely convinced, but I don't actually mind Willian as an option. I actually don't mind it. I was kind of sold on it by his mate. I'm not going to lie to you. He's on the penalties, probably takes free kicks as well. He's ein gut Option. But I don't think I would make that move. I think I would go Cole Palmer, Anthony Gordon, or keep hold of Diaby until Pedro Neto's back and then buy Pedro Neto. Or Mitoma. Or Elise. There's plenty, I think, that you could do that's not Willian, to be fair. But he does look quite good. Cash to Porro, yeah, I think it's fine. I think that move is fine. Tottenham have got one of the best set of fixtures for any team, so I think that move's fine. All right, Alfie, mate. Doku is not starting for Man City, which is good for Haaland, actually. How many languages do you know? Well, it depends what you mean by how well you need to know a language for it to count. I know a few words in French, German, and Spanish, but nowhere near enough to even probably have a good conversation, right? Nowhere near enough. So I'd say probably just one. Je suis les champignons. Bonjour. I mean, my French is shocking, don't get me wrong. Dos cerveza, por favor. Hola, ¿cómo estás? There you go. But us English, I will say, number one, we don't learn languages properly. Number two, we don't learn languages in a useful way. Like the stuff that I got taught, and it's probably the same, it might be the same for you guys in different countries in your school, but we learn pointless stuff. Like I learned how to tell someone what I had during the day in school. Like what would be useful is potentially how to communicate with someone in a shop, or how to ask for directions, or I don't know, how to order food off a menu. But we didn't learn any of that. We learned how to tell someone, we learned animals, what to tell someone you've got up to in school, and I can't even remember the rest of it, but it was rubbish. Yeah, I agree, Lee. And like the time to learn a language as well, and the best way to learn a language is obviously use it all the time as well. I remember my key case in this, he's definitely not watching the stream. We had a lad in our school called Wojtek. He came from Poland, I think we were about 14. And he came to England, and the poor lad, he didn't know any English, right? But just by sitting in a classroom, like learning our mannerisms and the way that we said words, he found what those words meant just by working it out himself. And eventually, he became an absolute master of the English language. He didn't even take English lessons, right? He just sat in our classrooms. He didn't understand a word of it for like a year, and he just learnt it by just being with us. It was unbelievable, and obviously I don't think he's a special case. Like I think that would work for anyone. Anyway, yeah, interesting fact. Thank you very much, FPL Diamond. I agree with Lee. Can Nunes start? What are you saying? Are you saying can Nunes play, or are you saying is he going to start? Is that your question there? Yeah, it was pretty incredible, Victor. He was a really nice lad. He became, well, literally one of my best friends. He was an absolute stud back in Poland, by the way. The women in Poland absolutely loved him because he lived in England. That made him really cool. So when he got back to Poland, he had a good time from what I was able to gather. Niels, that's all good, mate. I hope you enjoyed my my terrible chat outside of my live stream talk as well. But there you go, Victor. You clean up in other countries if you go to their schools. But yeah, fair enough, Malte. And yes, some of the I now have a girlfriend, so I'm not gonna comment on that one. Start Bowen or Hwang? Start them both. Someone else has to be benched, I reckon, mate. Would you rate our teams? Yeah, mate, I can do that. Unfortunately, no, I didn't really do that well in school. I did all right in the lower schools. That sounds dodgy, doesn't it? You know what I mean? I was of lower school age while I was talking to girls in like lower schools, right? Because I did swimming, right, and I was quite good at it, and that kind of made me quite cool. But I found that I hit puberty, and this is, I don't really care, I'm willing to say it. I hit puberty when I was really late. So the rest of my school year, like, grew beards and moustaches and looked like men. And I looked like a child until I was about 16. So, like, secondary school was a rough place for me. Younger schools, I was quite popular, but in secondary school, it was not so good. I've outed myself. Yeah, you can clip that up. Clip that up. It's just what it is. I'm 26 years old, by the way. So this is, I don't look 26. I know I don't. I've accepted that I look young. But I figured it's beneficial for future in life, right? Because, yes, I look young now when I'm 26. But imagine what I look like when I'm 50, right? I'm going to look 40, 30, And I'm very grateful for, obviously, I have some genetics that are good, some genetics that are bad. So you just take what you're given, don't you? Benching Anderson for Reece James. That is interesting. Niels is going to risk Nketiah. I won't go into it too much, but I think life is like, I don't know. My life kind of just started when I was 18. I've got to be honest. Like school, it's just school, innit? I feel quite young. I do feel young. Should I be more sorry, Paldy? You have asked that a few times. I do apologise. Turner, Eze, or Cash? Well, I would sell Eze as a priority out of those, I would say, because he's taken up a bit of cash in the bank and he's not playing. He's injured. So I would sell, and you could get someone like Gordon, Palmer, someone like that for him. So I'd focus on getting rid of Eze. Yeah, like Victor says. Michael Carrick. Does he? I haven't seen Michael Carrick now. He was, to be fair, Michael Carrick peaked quite late in his career, didn't he, as a footballer? He does look quite young, doesn't he? Crikey. How old is he? 42. Yeah, that's how I'm going to look when I'm 42. Might even look younger. Dubravka's not essential. Don't get me wrong. Like if you've got a goalkeeper that's playing this week, just play them. I wouldn't take a -4 for him. And no, I don't think I'd take a -4 for the other ones. I reckon you've got another goalkeeper in your team that can play instead of Turner. I wouldn't take a hit to bring in Dubravka for them. It's not essential that you need to do it now. He's only going to go up to 4.1. Yeah, just keep Areola, it'll be fine. Don't sweat it too much. I don't think the clean sheet odds for for Newcastle are strong enough to take a hit for Areola to Dubravka. I think just stick with Areola. You can do the move next week if you want to. Yeah, Malte, I'll have a look, mate. I'm not going to speak in German anymore. Any news before the deadline? There is no Doku in the Man City team. That's the news I've got. I don't even know if that's concrete. This is Malte's team. I think this is Turner to Areola or Douglas Luiz to Palmer. Those are your two options, mate. Turner to Areola or Douglas Luiz to Palmer. Those are your two options. Not Turner to Areola. Turner to Dubravka. I keep getting it mixed up. Look at past game weeks. Unfortunately, I can't actually look at past game weeks in this team. But it tells me what your rank was in past game weeks. You've halved your rank since, well, you've seemed to have done quite well recently, actually. I can imagine you've had some shockers, though, so it is what it is, mate. It is what it is. It's just a game at the end of the day. FPL can want some more stories. I don't know, I feel like I can't just force a story out, they have to come out. I didn't go to school. No, I didn't go to school with someone famous. I can't claim that. Did I? I did, so it's not that famous. It's really not that famous. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I went to school with this girl. Well, she was I think she was a couple years below me. I'm pretty sure this is her name. Actually, I can't. I know her name was Maddie of some description. Yeah, this girl. She was in the Paddington film. So I went to school with her. There you go. And I also, because when I was younger, like I said, I took swimming quite seriously. So I trained with, well, basically what are now British and like Commonwealth and Olympiad athletes. So I trained with, well, I'm really good friends with a lad named Cameron Curl, who we used to play Call of Duty together every weekend. But he was a Olympian in Rio 2016. And I also shared the pool with a swimmer called James Guy, who is a world champion and Olympic champion and world champion again this year in the 4x200 freestyle relay. Share the pool with him. And another lad called Brodie Williams, who won the Commonwealth gold medal in the 200 metre backstroke. I'm pretty sure he won the 200 back in Commonwealth Games. He won a medal anyway. There you go. The video about who, Malte? But yeah, James Guy is a beast, to be fair. So I trained with him for a bit. That was quite cool. Oh, James Guy. Yeah. Fair enough. He's quite a famous lad, to be fair. All of this swimming used to happen in a school called Millfield, which is one of the biggest most expensive private schools in England. And this is what their swimming pool looks like. So I was very lucky to live by this place. It's an Olympic-sized swimming pool with stands, a big screen. It's mega facility. I was very lucky that I could. I was very lucky that I was able to train there, just because I lived in Somerset, which was near where this pool was. So this is where I did all my training when I was younger. It's unbelievable. I think it's probably about 30 years old now, this pool, and I'm pretty sure. Well, it's a rumor, right? But I'm pretty sure a parent donated a substantial amount of money for the school to build this pool. Oh no. Well, I say it's good. They had some horrendous flooding and now the pool is closed. So, there you go. It's a good pool, but it's closed at the moment. Which is a shame because Jimmy Guy and Matt Richards, who are Matt Richards is the world champion of the 200 freestyle and James Guy is a world champion in the relay team. They both train at this pool, so I don't know what they're doing at the moment. They're probably going up to Bath to swim, I'd imagine. But that's a bit of a shitter. Who should win Sports Personality of the Year? Christ. Mate, my brain has to switch context so much to answer that question. So I'd like to know your suggestion because I probably know who it is. It's not the swimming pool, it's the plant room. The plant room is where they have all the chemicals and stuff. So every swimming pool you ever swim in has chlorine and pumped into it to keep it clean. So if that's been flooded with water, then it's broken basically. Start Diaby or Udogie. I think I'd just start Diaby. Just start Diaby because I don't think Spurs really keep a clean sheet today. Oh yeah, it's got to be Verstappen, yeah. Yeah, it has to be, yeah. I think you're right, it has to be Verstappen. Song captain, you can do. I think Salah's by far and away the best captain, though. He's not a popular man, Ben, but for me, he's the best. He's been the best sportsman this year, for sure. Absolutely, he's been unbreakable. 1 minute left till deadline. I'm actually streamed up until the deadline for the first time in a while. A whole 2.5 hours I've been live for. 1 minute to go, everyone. I'll do a bit of chat at the end of the stream if you guys want to stick around for it. I'll do half an hour of some chinwag. Why not? Somehow I've got more energy now than I do on a Saturday morning deadline stream. I don't know where that's come from. Oh, that's huge. It's the cookie, you're right. The cookie I ate, I'm probably high on the sugar from it still, aren't I, to be fair? I'm going to crash just in the time that I need to go to the gym. That's huge. That's really cool. That is really cool, Malte. And that's it. The deadline has hit. The deadline has hit. That's it. The deadline. What will I train? Well, I do full body every day. Because because I'm quite a busy guy, I struggle to get into the gym 3 or 4 times a week. Good luck to you too, Ben. So training individual body parts each session, it's better for me if I train every single body part in every single session, because that way I hit them at least once a week, right? I have a logbook, a gym logbook, because it's really useful to have a gym logbook. Today I will be doing deadlifts, bench press, a bent over raise activity, so I lie on the bench and do that for lateral raises, and a seated cable row. That's what I'm doing in the gym today. Full body's the way to go in my opinion. I really like it because it also means that for every exercise, I do 4 exercises per session. So I do like a deadlifts obviously trains more than one body part, but it's mostly back and hamstrings and stuff, right? But it means that every exercise you do, your body, that particular muscle group, isn't fatigued as well. So yeah, you can do like squats, smash your legs, then do bench, then do pull-ups, and then do like calf raises or something like that. That could be a session. And then you hit each muscle group that you hit isn't fatigued from previous exercises. Whereas if you just do an arms day, your arms are just getting smashed. Like you do biceps, triceps, a couple of exercises of both. By the end of it, you can't even move your arms. And then the next day when I need to swim, like actually swim and do training, I can't physically do it because my muscles are so rotten. So yeah. Well done, Malvin. See you on the next deadline stream, Malvin. One thing I would say to regular viewers of the stream, unfortunately, I won't be live on Saturday because I am going to Paris with my girlfriend. We're having a little trip away. So I'll be taking my laptop with me and I will definitely make a YouTube video for the Sunday morning as I usually do. But I won't be around for the deadline stream, basically, because I'll be exploring the sights of Paris. Oh, naturally, no, that's a lie. I'll be on an aeroplane. But I'll be back for, what, Gameweek 16, is it? Oh, Victor, if you have an exam tomorrow, mate, you got to get studying, mate. You've watched me for like 2 hours. You get into your books. And good luck for your exam, mate. Although, to be honest, I don't know. This isn't me trying to tell you to bottle it. But I always found the best preparation for an exam the night before was to do something which I wasn't thinking about the exam for. So I wish you all the best for the exam and try and have a chilled evening, mate. The last thing you want to do is you can like over prepare for those kinds of things, can't you? I'm sure you're aware of that, but yeah. Good luck, mate. And get a good sleep in, yeah. Get 8 hours of sleep in, mate. 8 hours. Get in bed 9 hours before you want to wake up, and that will guarantee you get 8 hours of sleep. There you go. Don't do a Will Mackenzie on the In-Betweeners. There you go. You've probably not seen the In-Betweeners because you're from Denmark. Well, you might have seen the In-Betweeners, but don't do a Will Mackenzie, mate. You don't want to be doing that. All right, deadline's here. People are asking me for stories. I don't have a great deal. It's a shame that pool's done for, though, isn't it? That's the pool I used to swim in. That's the one you swim in before you get promoted to the big pool. So you get it's not shit by any stretch of the imagination, but that's the first one you go in, and then you get the big one afterwards. That's the little school, and that's the big school. But yeah, it's all pro, and it's got like it's got a boom, so you can cut the pool in half. So if you probably not know anything about swimming, but you can swim long course and short course, right? So long course is the Olympic size 50 meter, but they also do competition short course, which is a 25 meter pool. And there's a retractable boom you can see there. You move it up and down the pool basically. So you can keep it against the wall, and the pool will then be 50 meters long, or you can push it back, and then you've got 25 meters basically. There you go. Fun fact. I'd recommend going there if you like arts. Museum, oh yeah, mate, I'm all over the galleries and stuff. What swim level are you on? Oh, now I'm not so good. So I stopped swimming when I was 15. And then I only restarted it last year at 25. So I just a master's level now. People say D1. I don't know what D1 means. I got to like regional level. Never quite got to national. I did set, when I was really young, I did set a number one national time for a bit of time, but I never actually competed at the national level. So yeah. I just competed against my region kind of thing. Oh mate, I'm looking forward to the pastries and sandwiches. Unfortunately my girlfriend is celiac, so she can't eat gluten or wheat. So I need to be careful that I don't spend the entire time eating sandwiches and pastries in front of her that she is unable to eat because she has an allergy. So I need to be careful about that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to some pain au chocolat, some croissants and some sandwiches. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Went to Barcelona earlier in the year as well. I just love a little, and I don't know how much what sort of position you guys are in work or school or whatever, but I love taking a cheap weekend away to a European city because it's never really that expensive. And it's really nice just to walk around somewhere new and different, isn't it? So yeah, I've been to Barcelona and now I'm doing Paris. And then girlfriend and I have booked Copenhagen in January as well. So Victor, big ups. I'm going to Copenhagen in January. I forgot to mention that, mate. I'm in Copenhagen. I don't know if you live in Copenhagen, but if you do, fancy a coffee, I'm your guy. Although I'm not sure how long we're actually going to spend in Copenhagen. We might be traveling a little bit, but yeah. I don't really have a plan yet. We just booked the flights and the hotel. What would I recommend in London? Well, I spent quite a lot of time in London. I won't lie. I'm not a massive fan of it. You can do if you've never been before, you've got to do all the tourist stuff. You've got to go to Westminster, see the Houses of Parliament, Big Ben, Westminster Abbey, the London Eye. All of that is like walkable. So London Eye to Westminster is like a 10-minute walk. It's all really close to one another. There's a place called the Sky Garden, which is the top of a skyscraper that has a garden at the top of it. So you can see all around the city and you're in like an indoor garden. That's quite cool. You can go to Tower Bridge, the famous bridge, but it's just a bridge at the end of the day. Oxford Street is all right for shopping. What else do I like? Covent Garden's really nice for meals and stuff. Chinatown, I really enjoyed Chinatown. Got some decent Chinese grub there. Obviously Buckingham Palace. You need to go to Buckingham Palace, really. That's really cool. Walk up the Mall in St James's Park and stuff like that. I really like if you want to go to a museum, I really like the Natural History Museum in London. That's probably the best museum one of the best museums I've ever been to. The Natural History Museum. It's really good. All of the London stadiums aren't in the centre. So if you're a big football fan, it does take a while to get to some of the stadiums if you're doing touristy stuff in the centre, if that makes sense. But definitely try and go to a stadium. I'd say of all the stadiums in London, obviously the Tottenham one is the best, right? So if you get to the Tottenham Stadium, that's probably the one to do. Wembley is big, but it's a bit overrated, I find, is Wembley. I'm not a massive fan of it. I don't know what other English folk in the chat think, but I'm not a big fan of Wembley. But yeah, that's my London guide to you. The Airbnb is near the London... Oh, that's a winner then. That's a winner to get you started. That's in Stratford, isn't it? I'm pretty sure. I won't ask you exactly where you're staying on the internet because that would be incriminating. But I'm pretty sure it's in Stratford, isn't it? Yeah, there's London Stadium. Yeah, I don't like London massively. I can take it or leave it, really. So you're in West London then. So you'll be undergrounding in every day pretty much. But yeah, obviously all the touristy stuff in London is in this vicinity here. You got the Palace, Big Ben, which you can walk to. You walk down the Mall, and then you get to all the cool stuff. So Great Scotland Yard, Whitehall, Downing Street. That's all along. What's that street called? I can't remember. It's called Whitehall, isn't it? So all of that is in that area. You can just spend like half a day walking around there. And there's a gallery. Trafalgar Square is obviously nearby. Covent Garden's there as well. Chinatown, that's Oxford Street. Niketown's quite. If you've not got a Niketown in Germany, that's quite nice just to see. But yeah, all of that area there is where all the good stuff, touristy stuff, is basically. As you can see, they're all here. British Museum, Buckingham Palace. It's all within that area. And basically, you can spend a day. You don't need to get a tube between any of these places, really. If you've got legs, you can walk it all. And Hyde Park's, well, it's not actually. The London parks are not that good. The Kensington Gardens are all right, to be fair. But yeah, that's my thoughts on someone that's worked in London quite regularly for a few amount of years. But I don't like it. I chose to live in Bristol because it's well, I can get to London in a couple of hours when I need to, but London is so big and so busy. Bristol, perfect little city. This is where I live. I live in Bristol, mate. Bristol, at the Bristol. Hopefully that helps anyway. But yeah, if you just mooch around the Westminster, Buckingham Palace, Covent Garden stuff area for a day, you probably tick off most of the touristy bits. I'll stay live till half 6 because I'm feeling some energy right now. You know, I don't know where it's come from. What happened there? Yeah, for like honestly, Malte, don't worry. It's quite, yeah. I imagine for a non-British person, it's quite confusing. Dare I say it? I don't know. I can't remember. Ben, are you Irish? Are you from the Republic or Northern Ireland? I can't remember. You're from Northern Ireland, aren't you? So yeah, Northern Ireland is part of the United Kingdom, which it's very confusing. Yeah, he's from Belfast. Oh, what's the nightclub I used to go to in Belfast called? It's called Limelight still. I can't remember if I said this to you, Ben. I spent 9 months when I was 20. I worked, can't say who for, but I worked in Belfast for 9 months on a secondment, and Limelight was the place. I'm not going to say too much to incriminate myself, but the people in Limelight enjoyed my English accent. And I usually stayed in the Clayton Hotel, which is right by it, which is quite a posh hotel. But because I was staying there for work, I stayed in the Clayton. So you could imagine what my routine was. I'm not going to say, John. I'm not going to incriminate myself. Oh, and one memory I have of the Clayton. Hang on. So, because obviously Game of Thrones was being filmed in Northern Ireland, and I was working in the time. I can't remember what series it was. Don't get me wrong, but I was staying in the Clayton with some of the Game of Thrones stars, and I brushed shoulders with quite a few of them. So Jon Snow, Kit Harington, I think his name is. I'm pretty sure he lived in Bath. So because I live in Bristol, I was flying from Bristol to Belfast. So I was on a couple of flights home, EasyJet flights home with him from Belfast to Bristol. And I don't know if I still have the photo, actually. Hopefully I do. There's me on the Giant's Causeway back in the daylet. I'm just going through my old photos. It's me in Portrush. Ben loves a bit of Portrush. I think that's Portrush. I think that's what it's called, isn't it? Portrush. Seeing if I've got the picture. Yeah, I did a day of touring I basically hired a car on my corporate discount code and just drove around the North Coast for a day. It was really nice. I did the Game of Thrones trees as well. Where's the trees? There they are. I don't know what they're called. Apparently they're being chopped down now, but I did that as well. I can't remember what the street's called, but there you go. I did that on the way back. Then I got to some beach. I have no idea what beach it was, but it was just me on this beach. It was quite cool. And I went to the bridge as well. There was a footbridge. Where's the footbridge? Where's the footbridge? Yeah, I didn't go across the bridge, but there was a footbridge. I did that as well. I didn't go on the bridge though, because it was too windy. Where's the picture? Come on, it must be here somewhere. There's no way I've lost that. Well, I have to tell you the story rather than show you the picture. I think, yeah. So basically, I was in the gym in the Clayton because the Clayton has a really decent gym and a swimming pool. And I was going to the gym. I was staying in the Clayton. I went to the gym, and then there were people leaving the gym saying, "We'll come back for a photo later." And I was like, who do they want a photo with in the gym? Why are they taking pictures in the gym? Anyway, I started doing like a shoulder press or something, I think. And I looked in the mirror and a man stood up, and it was the biggest man I have ever seen in my entire life. And he had a tiny blonde woman with him, and they were in the gym together. And I didn't watch the Game of Thrones at the time, so I didn't know who he was. But he was just the biggest human being I'd ever seen. It turns out it was the Mountain, and I was in the gym with the Mountain and his girlfriend. And let's see, hang on, I won't incriminate myself. I'll just go onto a different screen. I'll show you the Mountain and his girlfriend because the size comparison between the two of them is unbelievable. It's just called Thor, isn't he? He's like the world's strongest man now. I think I've told that story quite well. That's literally exactly as it happened, to be fair. Here we go. I'm on my Instagram. I'd rather not share that publicly, so there you go. But anyway, that's Thor, obviously. I don't know who that is, but that's his missus. Look at the size difference. See if we got any more. But yeah, the size difference between him and his missus is terrifying. I don't know if there's a picture of them together. There you go. Look at the size difference between the two of them. Anyway, and they're very happy together. And I've no issue, but the size difference is quite funny. But they seem to be a very happy couple, and they've been together since I was in Belfast, which was 2017. So they've been together. Yeah, I can imagine there's only a Hamsmith. They've been together like 6 years. So, I mean, fair play to them. They seem to be really happy. I think they've got a child on the way. So all the best. All the best to them. And I would obviously, if I ever saw him, I would never say that to his face because he'd rip my head off. Yeah, there you go. I think I can answer that question, Mr. Blanky, by being very politically correct as well. I think Sam Smith was one of the most talented British artists ever produced. His voice and some of the music, obviously it was all really sad, don't get me wrong, but a lot of the music that he made starting off was just ridiculous, wasn't he? He was so talented. And I think he's had some issues mentally, right? He's obviously not shy about sharing his mental health history. I just think he's got someone behind him that's telling him to do like the most outrageous things possible to garner more attention. And that's what he's been doing. So all like the mad stuff he's been wearing and stuff like that. I just think he's got someone in his ear telling him to do all that to get more attention. When in reality, all he needs to do is sing because he's so talented. And it's a real shame. He could duet. He could do anything with anyone because he's so talented. And unfortunately, I think the attention on Sam Smith is yes, moving from talent to attention. But unfortunately, the world is a bit of an attention economy. Is that actually true, Ben? If it is, then I will use the correct pronoun. Fair enough. I kind of sit like, I won't go into too much because I don't want to talk about politics on the FPL channel, but I usually find I just sit like right slap bang in the middle politically between left and right. I don't see myself as right wing. I don't see myself as left wing. I kind of agree with things that both sides say. I don't really have a side, to be honest. So hopefully, but that was my genuine view on the Sam Smith whole thing as well. Has he done anything recently? I must say I've not. What am I going to say? I've not really done much research into him. To be honest, I quite like the fact that I do something like FPL YouTube because I don't have enough time to look into like the celebrity world. Also, here's one opinion I have: people who like idolize people that can sing or act, etc., etc., I think is a bit mad. Especially actors, like A-list Hollywood actors. Don't get me wrong, I like respect their abilities to act, etc., etc., and they're obviously very talented people. But for someone that plays a character in a film to then tell you how to like live your life or do things doesn't sit right with me. I don't know how you guys feel about that kind of thing, but there are definitely some actors that see themselves as like, I don't know, leaders amongst the community, but I don't really buy into that. Anyway. All you do is act, mate. Also, Tom Aspinall, another opinion, he's going to be UFC heavyweight champion. No question. I think, yeah, by the way, Ben McCrum has interviewed Tom Aspinall. How good's that? And yes, I would agree. But I would say one thing about Ryan Reynolds is that he doesn't like force himself on people. He is a role model by doing good things and being a good person, if that makes sense, rather than like preaching. I think that's probably where I'm trying to come from. That's quite funny. That's a very good tweet. I missed that. Why is Tom Aspinall up at 2:15 a.m. by the way in the UK? I presume he is in the UK. That's not good. He needs to be getting that sleep in. That's quite a sensitive topic on YouTube, I'm afraid, Mr. Blanky. I wish I could talk about that. Perhaps if you were to DM me, I could offer some opinions, but unfortunately, YouTube sees that thing as like a sensitive topic, so I'd rather not talk about that on YouTube if that's okay. Whip out the Sky team. All right, lad, hang on. Well, to be fair, the Sky team's actually all right. I have to change screens on OBS because you'll see my login details for Sky Bet otherwise. So just bear with while I log myself in. We can't have someone hacking into my Sky Bet, I'm afraid. That can't be happening. Actually, you probably could because all you can do is deposit money in there, so go for it. There we go. Yeah, mate. Yeah, Chris, I'm from Bristol. I grew up in Somerset and moved to Bristol last year. That's my Sky team, Ben. I'm quite happy with that, to be honest. Rodri's a bit of a shitter, but the rest of it, quite happy. Why have I got Haaland as my captain in one of them? Why have I done that? Salah. Salah. Good job you told me to get it out. I wouldn't have done that otherwise. There you go. That's how I'm looking. Both teams identical. Unfortunately, I've used 2 more transfers in one team than the other, and they are identical in terms of points. But yeah, that's how we're looking. I'm quite happy with it. I have seen the Areola Dubravka rotation. I've been all over people to bring in Dubravka for Turner this week. Pretty much everyone that's got the Areola Turner double up, I've been saying to do that. It just makes sense, doesn't it? Hopefully I don't, Ben. Unless I get massive injuries, this team could keep me till Christmas, to be honest. Oh yeah, that new stadium fell through like 6 weeks ago. I'm not a Man City, a Bristol City fan, Malte. I won't reveal the exact location that I live, but I live quite close to the football stadium, so I have a season ticket. And yeah, Bristol Rovers did. The new stand they have also has pillars at the front of it, so some of the seats are like restricted view, which is shocking. I think I'll skip the game. I think I'll skip it, Ben. Historic 1-1, innit? I just don't think there's anything in it. Maybe Dunk gets past him, but I do think he'll concede. If Eze was on, I'd probably go for him because I quite like the thought of captaining a penalty taker. But other than that, it's a shitter, I think. Religious beliefs, I don't... What I would say is I imagine at some point in my life I might have an event that turns me to have a faith and a religion. But for right now, I would say I'm just agnostic, to be honest. A lot of people say that they become religious after like a particular event or something. That seems to be the thing, but I've not at that moment yet. I was christened when I was younger, but I wouldn't say that I practice Christianity. I don't read the Bible or pray or anything like that. Although for some reason it's just tradition, so it's just not tradition? What is it? Superstition. But before I race when I swim, I like cross myself. I don't know why I do that, but I just always have done. So it's stuck, right? I do think there's a bit of groupthink because I don't know what the upside to holding Dunk is, to be honest. He's not kept a clean sheet. All he's doing is getting passing bonus, and he's due another ban for his yellow cards, isn't he? Oh, totally, Chris. And, well, I assume as a City fan yourself, which it sounds like you are, Chris, I think as a club we've got it pretty good at the moment. I think we've got it pretty good. A lot of people rightly critical of the ownership for sacking Pearson and the communication around it. Ultimately, I mean, I think we should be very grateful for what they've done for Bristol City Football Club, to be honest. It's in a lot better position than it is now than it was 10 years ago. They've invested a lot of their own net worth into the club and not seen any return. They might not be the most competent football operators, but we've got a really nice stadium that we have use of for 100 years. A decent squad, a likeable squad, a squad that can improve. I think we should be very grateful for what we've got at the moment. It's a lot better than our local rivals, like you say. Do you think is better? Oh, Bellingham. Bellingham, 100%. I think Bellingham is literally... I think you could argue that Bellingham has been the best player in the world so far this season. Oh, I completely agree, Chris. Yeah, absolutely. Poor bloke. I just hope he's getting like the medical help that he needs so he can carry on like being fully mobile. Because yeah, it sounded like, well, imagine like the job of a footy manager is rough, especially in the Championship. You know, 40 well, it's 46 games, isn't it? 23 of them away from home, all up and down the country, midweek, not seeing your family, not being well. It's horrible. It's really hard. So, yeah, I think he would have resigned anyway. But Pearson has like a knack, doesn't he, of being like the stepping stone manager. Well, he certainly was in Leicester's story, wasn't he? He was the manager that built the foundations of a team that then went on to achieve success. You know, he instilled the mentality in the team, signed the good characters into the dressing room. And I think he's done probably not quite a Leicester job, but he's done quite similar at City, hasn't he? I mean, you think of where we were just as he signed and then where we are now with the good young players we've got, just a nice mentality around the dressing room, etc., etc. It's all thanks to him. So that's what I think he's done. Oh, bloody hell, Mr. Blanky. Fair enough. I think Bellingham's number one, to be honest. Could even be world number one at the moment. Literally the best player in the world at the moment, I think. I'll give it 5 more minutes on stream, and then I really do have to go. Because I'm starting to wane a little bit. I've been live for 3 hours now. But I appreciate everyone joining the stream, though. And everyone taking part in the old chat. I appreciate that. And yeah, just hope you enjoy it. Best of luck for the old game week. What are we on? 15 now, isn't it? Bloody hell. Nearly halfway through the season already. Feels like yesterday I did my live stream when the game launched. Crazy. Will I come and visit you over in Germany? Well, my girlfriend and I so when we booked our Copenhagen trip that I spoke about, we had a chat about other European cities that she wanted to go to. Bristol City have got West Ham, by the way. West Ham away. So I'm going to go. I'm going to go West Ham away beginning of January. Maybe, mate. Maybe. I was thinking I definitely want to go to Cologne and see the cathedral. A FPL Cup. All right. FPL Cup. Sorry, all the context changes with... how do I see that? I don't think I can see it, can I? Not with the pages I've got available at the moment. I don't think... Oh, I have a buy. Because I scored really well last week, I've got a buy. The good thing about the West Ham away ground as well, away fans in the Cup get 9,000 tickets allocated to them. They get the entire one of the stands behind the goal, which fits 9,000 people. So that'll be 9,000 Bristol City fans that go. How good is that? And we were spinning up a narrative in our seats at the weekend that, you know, there could well be some rotation in that West Ham team. Bristol City in the Cup, they probably won't start Jared Bowen, for example. They'll do a bit of rotation. So West Ham have a really terrible performance in them, don't they? So we'll see. We could beat them. That's all I'm saying. And speaking of cities, I went to Berlin a few years ago, and it remains the best city I've ever been to, for what it's worth. I absolutely love Berlin. And it was also the first city I had been to that did electric scooters, which, at the time in Berlin was a godsend, because like getting around like the touristy bit between Brandenburg Gate, the Reichstag and the park and stuff, it's quite a long walk, but you just blast it on the scooters. It was really good. So we basically did a tour of the city on our first day. So all the sites just on our scooters. It was really cool. And that was Berlin. I know that they are very annoying, and I nearly got killed by a local. Well, obviously a local. Yeah, I guess I can use that word, can't I? We pulled out in front of him on a junction, and he got out of his car and chased after us, which is a counterproductive thing to do when you have a car against blokes on scooters. But yeah. I went to Prague, but I don't know. I preferred Berlin to Prague. I did Amsterdam, Berlin, and Prague all in a trip, and I think I just preferred Berlin. Good luck, Mr. Blanky, mate. You too, pal. But yeah, that's a funny story. Funny story. I don't know, Malte, if you come from Berlin yourself, but we also went past, I don't know what it was, but it was an area where people were clearly living that was fenced off with loads of graffiti and stuff, and it looked quite cool, but we couldn't go in there. It looked pretty funky though. Not been to Budapest yet, Ben. I do want to do that. Once we get Paris and Copenhagen out of the way, that might be one of the trips we do next. I also some of the cities in Belgium look really nice, and I want to do Italy as well. But some of the cities in Belgium look really cool. Apparently, some of them are literally the best in Europe. So yeah, we're gonna have a look. I'll have a quick look, and then we'll end the stream. I remember which city it was. I quite liked. Bye bye, Marte. If you're off, I quite liked Amsterdam. I said Berlin was my favourite, but of all the cities I could see myself living in, it was Amsterdam. I quite liked it, and I didn't even like it. Well, the cafes were good. Don't get me wrong. I quite enjoyed the cafes, but I didn't like it for like the red light district and that novelty side. I just liked like the general atmosphere, like walking up and down the canals and all the houses that were along the side of the canals. Some of the shops there were really cool. Some of the bakeries and the food, I just really liked it. The red light district was a bit novelty, and obviously the cafes are a bit novelty, but I quite enjoyed them. Big ups, Malte, mate. It's been a pleasure. You're more than welcome to join again. Sorry that it'll be more than a week before you can talk to me next, but I'll have videos out as we go. So yeah, cheers, mate. I think I'll end it there too, if that's all right, chaps. I've been live for 3 hours and 7 minutes, and I need to go to the gym. So yeah, we'll end it there. Thank you everyone for watching. Best of luck for Game Week 15. I won't be live for Game Week 16. I don't know where the energy's come from, to be honest. Yeah, I won't be live for Game Week 16 because I'm away, but I'll be back for Game Week 17, and I'll have videos up. Even when I'm in Paris, I'll just record something in my hotel room. That's my plan anyway. So yeah, I'll catch you in my next video and from Paris. Goodbye.